Student athletes, coaches, and fans, we request your cooperation in supporting the student athletes and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, derogatory comments, or other intimidating actions directed at athletes, officials, team representatives, or other fans will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal. We appreciate your cooperation in creating a safe and positive game environment. Respect, it's the name of the game. The designated visiting team today, and Monterey Bay will be on the NNU row on the scoreboard. NNU on the guest row. Good evening. Welcome to the 2025 NCAA Division II Baseball Super Regional at Elmore Vale Field on the campus of Northwest Nazarene University. Tonight's game features the Cal State Monterey Bay Otters versus the Northwest Nazarene Nighthawks. As a reminder to all spectators, please be alert at all times during today's game. Baseballs can accidentally fly into the seating areas. Be alert to the action. The NCAA and NNU want everyone to have a safe and enjoyable day watching the best college baseball in the nation. Let's meet the starters for the Nighthawks. In right field, number 21, Nin Burns II. At third base, number 7, Brian Rojas. At first base, number 8, Caleb Karpstein. In left field, number 27, Casey Wayne. The designated hitter and pitching, number 4, Cole Cowman. The shortstop, number 5, Gavin Brubaker. In center field, number 39, Carter Walsh. At second base, number 30, Jake Mestis. And catching, number 33, Jason Bell. The head coach of NNU is Joe Schaefer. He's assisted by Matt Howard, Grant Cary, Eric Lopez, Kyle Etheridge, and Trevor Tashenko. And now let's meet the starting lineup for the Otters. In left field, number 37, Jimmy Garcia. At third base, number 10, Jacob Dressler. In center field, number 27, K.W. Kalichi. The DH, number 44, Jaden Shepard. At first base, number 33, Cole Murchison. At second base, number 40, Javier Felix. At shortstop, number 23, Maximiliano Farfan. Catching, number 2, Dominic Felice. And in right field, number 8, Andrew Lehman. Pitching for the Otters, number 35, Mitchell Torres. Head coach of the Otters is Walt White. He's assisted by Derek Bell, Dennis Peters, Levi Nodden, Kramer Champlin, and Kyle Guerra. And now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're able, please rise and remove your caps for the national anthem.
Back at Vale Field here on the campus of Northwest Nazarene University, the super regional action continues between Northwest Nazarene and Cal State Monterey Bay tonight. Last night, what a show the Nighthawks put on. A dominant 14-0 performance to grab a 1-0 lead in this best-of-3 series, with a winner moving on to the College Baseball World Series in Cary, North Carolina. Once again, I am Jay Tuss, joined by former NNU Nighthawk closer Max Holtzclaw. You hold the record for saves, the record for Ks per 9. You had one heck of a career here, and boy, did the boys put on a show for you last night against Cal State Monterey Bay.
Yeah, Jay, thanks. It was awesome to be up here in the booth with you last night. I had a whole lot of fun, but I guarantee not as much fun as the boys did out on the field. It was just great to watch good baseball last night. Hoping the boys can do it again, punch their ticket to Cary.
Well, if one thing that we know about this NNU team, Joe Schaefer is going to have his team prepared for this game. Yes, they won 14-0, but they need another victory today in order to achieve a little bit of history. It would be their first ever Super Regional Series victory, and that would clinch their second ever trip to the College Baseball World Series. And Cal State Monterey Bay, the big question with them is how do they bounce back? Their season up against the wall. They faced elimination. That happened to them twice in the Super Regional where they got back-to-back victories over Westmont just to get to this point, but a 14-0 loss. Man, how do they bounce back tonight?
Yeah, this is a team who's not afraid to do it. As you said, last weekend their backs were up against the wall. This is still a good ball club. I mean, nothing changes there. I think yesterday was Coach Walt White thinks that was a fluke for their offense, so we'll see what happens today.
I would say it was a fluke for their offense, which routinely ranks as one of the best in the country. With their backs against the wall, Cal State Monterey Bay will send their lefty to the mound. Mitchell Torres on the season, impressive 6-1 record to go along with a 3.69 ERA, a whip of 1.26. He will need to be at his best in order to tame a red-hot NNU lineup. 4 guys with multiple hits in yesterday's game, and probably the 2 guys that you have to point out hit 1-2 in this order. Nin Burns, 3 for 6 with a home run. He'll lead off again today. And behind him, Brian Rojas, 3 for 5 with a walk, was a single short of the cycle yesterday.
Yeah, they put up impressive numbers yesterday, and hopefully they can ride that momentum today. They're looking to do that against this pitcher from Monterey Bay.
The starting lineup tonight for NNU, Nin Burns hitting leadoff, followed by Brian Rojas. Caleb Karpstein going to get the start at first. Casey Wayne will be in left field. Cole Calnon will pitch and DH as the first pitch is over from Torres for strike 1. Behind Calnon, Gavin Baker slides over to shortstop for this contest. Carter Walsh in center field. Jake Mestis at second base, and it will be Jason Bell behind the dish for the Nighthawks. Nin Burns takes a ball, 1-1 the count. Takes that pitch a little low, he works ahead. Nin sitting on 77 hits this season, 2 shy of the school record. Pitch misses well outside for ball 3.
3-1 count for Nin Burns here. He's going to look for a pitch to drive. Looking over that flag again like I was doing yesterday. Not as windy today, but again, like we said, no ballpark in America can hold this power hitter.
14 jacks on the season, swings through that fastball on the outside corner to run the count full. 14 home runs. He continues to inch his way up the all-time single-season leaderboard at NNU. John Gonzalez, your former teammate, hit 17 to set the record back in 2021. Swung on and missed a high fastball. Torres works his way back after falling behind 3-1 to get NNU's all-conference players swinging. Now Torres will attack probably the hottest hitter in NNU's lineup. In regional play, so if you include last weekend and last night, Brian Torres is hitting .471 with 4 jacks in regional play. Lifts that one down the left field foul line. It will get its way over the fence and into the stands. As I mentioned last night, a double, a triple, followed up all that in his last at-bat by hitting a 3-run shot over the wall in left field. He is swinging it really well right now.
Yeah, he's just continuing to prove that he's one of the hottest hitters in Division II baseball. Just all around, too. I mean, he had quite a few shots last night that were inching towards that center field wall, and he finally got a hold of one.
A 1-1 count. Rojas goes to the gap in left center field. It gets down. He's going to try to move up to second base and slides in safely with the double here with one out in the top half of the first inning.
Now batting the first baseman, number 8, Caleb Karpstein.
Yeah, Rojas just doing what he does best there, going the opposite way. Just a good piece of hitting.
Now hitting an even .500 in regional play. NNU is the away team in this game. They were home last night. If there's an if necessary game tomorrow, that would mean a Cal State Monterey Bay victory today, then NNU would be the home team tomorrow as well. Caleb Karpstein into the box for NNU. 1 for 5 with an RBI and a walk in yesterday's game. Came into this series hitting .401. His batting average dipped ever so slightly to .395 yesterday. That's where it stands to start the game today. Breaking ball fouled off down the left field line.
Looks like Coach White kind of did a little bit of homework on Karpstein. We have the center fielder, Quilici, over there kind of shading towards that left field gap.
A lot of space to that right center power alley. You put one there, Karpstein's going to be standing on third. They do know the scouting report.
I think Karpstein's more comfortable going that way, but he's a good all-around hitter where he probably sees that gap as well and can just change some things up to try to get to that power alley.
A 2-1 count, trying to add to his RBI total. Takes that pitch down and away for ball 3. Karpstein earned his 60th career walk yesterday, already top 10 in NNU history, and he still has a year of eligibility remaining.
Yeah, Karpstein was around when I was still playing. As the redshirt freshman, I always kind of forget that he still has that extra year. I mean, what a well-polished baseball player to be putting up numbers like this for his junior season.
Nice 3-1 pitch by Torres, paints the outside corner, as he will face his second full count in 3 batters to start this game. Karpstein fouls it back.
It's a good pitch to fight off there.
6 foot, 200-pound redshirt junior out of Bend, Oregon. Was a first-team All-GNAC representative at first base for NNU. Second-team All-Region. Rojas takes his secondary out at second base. Karpstein a liner to left. And that'll be Jimmy Garcia that settles under it for the second out of the inning. And you kind of mentioned it right off the top there. Cal State, Monterey Bay doing their homework on a guy that loves to send the ball to the opposite field. Perfectly placed.
Yeah, a little top spun there. I think yesterday, with the wind blowing like it was, that had a chance to bang off the wall, but today, not as much wind. Still a great approach out of Karpstein, though. Go that way.
Here comes Casey Wayne, the 6'4", 220-pound redshirt senior out of Phoenix, Arizona. He takes ball 1 off the outside corner. Pitch up and away from Torres. Wayne hitting .371 on the season. A .450 on-base percentage. Coming into this series, he actually led the team in OPS, on-base plus slugging. He works the count in his favor, 3-0. Strike 1 for Torres, 3-1 the count.
I think Casey Wayne's going to get pretty aggressive on this pitch here. If it's somewhere in the zone, he's going to look to hammer it. And he caught that inside corner. It was a good pitch for Torres again.
So now another full count. The third time in 4 batters that Torres has faced, but he's 1 pitch away from leaving Rojas stranded out there at second base. Back up the middle. Casey Wayne delivers as Rojas comes around third, and NNU, just like yesterday, strikes first.
Now batting the designated hitter, number 4, Cole Calgon.
That's just great out of Casey Wayne there, seeing 2 strikes kind of down the middle, and then he gets that pitch. Knowing Torres wants to go right after him here, just sends it right back up the middle. Able to score Rojas.
Considering NNU won 14-0 yesterday, that's a big run, I feel like, for the Nighthawks. Cal State Monterey Bay is going to be working from behind, that means, to start this one, an elimination game, trying to get their program record 40th win. They currently sit at 39, a total they've hit in each of the last 3 seasons. This Otter program has really started to establish themselves as a perennial power in California, but it's just been tough for them to figure out this last hurdle. They've made it to Super Regionals a number of times recently, but haven't been able to come away with the necessary victories to move this thing on to the Division II College Baseball World Series.
And you know that's been on Coach White's mind a little bit to get this far and just have that much success and just being so close. I mean, this is one that he wants bad.
Cole Calnon, a liner to right, and under it is Andrew Lehman for the third and final out here in the top half of the first inning. But NNU still able to get on the board. They lead 1-0. Cole Calnon will take the mound for the Nighthawks in the bottom of the first.
If you want to win in every arena of college life, go D2. Make it yours.
Back here at Vail Field, Cal State Monterey Bay facing elimination. They will have to face Cole Calnon, the senior right-handed pitcher that is a perfect 10-0 on the season for NNU. Enters this one with a 2.38 ERA. And kind of the thing about him, Max, he doesn't walk people. He is going to make the Otters earn everything today.
Oh, absolutely. 13 walks over 88 in a third inning is just crazy numbers to put up. I mean, he is, like you said, going to make the Otters have to earn it. He's not going to go up any free passes, which, you know, helps his pitch count, helps getting out of the innings quicker too.
Leading off of the Otters, bottom half of the first inning, left fielder number 37, Jimmy Garcia.
You heard it right there. Jimmy Garcia batting leadoff for the Otters. He'll be followed in the bottom half of the first inning by Jacob Dressler, as well as K.W. Quilici.
And you saw yesterday Coach White taking a lot of his starters out kind of around the 6th, 7th inning. I wonder what that game plan was, if he just wanted his original starters to get some rest and just show up ready to play today, which I'm sure they will be.
Cole Calnon working ahead immediately. Garcia grounds it to Brubaker. The toss across in plenty of time for the first out. Brubaker, normally the starting second baseman for NNU, but whenever Cole Calnon pitches, he slides over and plays shortstop.
Yeah, Brubaker just such a great athlete to be able to play different parts of the field. I mean, you saw the rhythm him and Calnon had up the middle yesterday multiple times. And for him to just be able to switch and go the other side is really incredible to watch. He's been doing a great job in that role as a utility player.
Jacob Dressler takes strike one from Caledon. Dressler 0 for 3 with a walk yesterday. Still hitting .313 on the season. And Caledon quickly working ahead, 0-2.
Yeah, yesterday, Jay, we saw a lot of defensive changes out of Coach Holland with his alignments from the defense behind Ernie. I'm interested to see what that's going to look like with Caledon having a little bit lower velocity. I'm expecting right-handed hitters kind of roll the ball over to that left side quite a bit, get a lot of action for Rojas and Brubaker.
Rojas gets a lot of credit for his bat, but he can pick it over there at third base. The 1-2 pitch, chopped down towards Rojas. It'll be foul. The Otters looking for their first run of this super regional. Shutout yesterday. Doesn't happen very often for this Cal State Monterey Bay lineup.
I did mention the football scores yesterday, kind of a perfect 14-0 football score. But Monterey Bay not able to score yesterday. Out of a good outing from Jacob Rochelle out of the bullpen there.
Yeah.
They had their chance, and he held them at bay.
The 2-2 pitch to Dressler. Kind of just throws his bat at it, and Caledon snags it and flips it over to Karpstein for the out.
Now batting, center fielder, number 27, KW.
Caledon kind of showing off his athleticism there. He's played a tremendous shortstop for the Nighthawks this year and just kind of nabs that one right out of the air and underhands it over to his first baseman, Caleb Karpstein.
Yeah, still not afraid to show that he's the best infielder on that field right there, even being 60 feet 6 inches away from home plate at reaction time. It's great.
So KW Quilici will step into the box with nobody on and 2 out in the bottom of the first. And then you did a great job against this guy yesterday. He was the CCAA Player of the Year. His current batting average on the season, .390, 13 home runs, 50 RBI, 66 runs scored, a perfect 8 for 8 at stealing bags, plays a tremendous center field. Finds himself in a 1-1 count. That slider comes back and grabs the outside corner.
Caledon kind of playing quarterback out there as Rojas was playing left field.
Some very intense. They went with 4 outfielders there for a second against Quilici. That pitch misses just outside.
Caledon knowing the game plan there, waving Rojas in. Now they still have kind of a big shift on Quilici. Rojas kind of playing where deep shortstop might play.
Strike 3 they get. Quilici looking a clean first inning for Cole Caledon that he caps with the backwards K. NNU leads this elimination game for Cal State Monterey Bay 1-0.
That's a timeout on betting. It completely changed the game, and you didn't even notice. Let me break it down for you. Betting ads are applying full court pressure and getting you to play the game. Many of you are falling for it and losing big money. Addiction is happening in some more than others. Now players are getting harassed by bettors. And we all know that's not how the game is won. So it's on us to be good teammates and draw the line to stay ahead of betting consequences.
Due up for the Nighthawks here in the top half of the first inning. Gavin Brubaker, followed by Carter Walsh.
Leading off, top of the second inning for the Nighthawks.
Mitchell Torres allowed the double to Brian Rojas in the top half of the first inning, but was able to work his way out of that. Only allowing a run there. So the Otters trying to fight their way back in, down 1-0. Brubaker takes strike one.
So I mentioned the velocity difference out of Lugo Cantrola and Calnon here. The pitchers from Monterey Bay seem to be kind of running the same thing with a soft-throwing lefty, which is something the Nighthawks handle really well because I think the GNAC really has a plethora of those types of pitchers. So this is something that they've seen kind of all year.
Breaking ball skied down the right field line and out of play. So Brubaker going to trot back to the batter's box with a 1-2 count. He was 1 for 4 yesterday, scored a pair of runs, had an RBI, also reached via a walk. Tremendously athletic kid, 5 triples this season, tied for the 3rd most in a single season in NNU history. 2 shy of the program record. Only a sophomore. Checks in at 6 feet tall, 185 pounds, from Lakewood, Washington. Attended Curtis High School. Pitch kind of slips out of Torres' hand for ball 2. Torres gets Brubaker swinging at the heater on the outside corner for strike 3.
Now batting in center field, number 39.
Yeah,
Carter
Torres
Walsh.
doing a good job at getting that pitch up with 2 strikes. Brubaker and Burns both on that same pitch.
Next up, Carter Walsh, the pride of Timberline High School. .270 hitter, thinks about bunting, pulls it back, takes the ball. Count goes to 2-0.
Yeah, arguably one of the biggest speed threats out of the Nighthawk dugout there, getting him on bases. He can really be creative with some play calls out of Coach Schaefer.
We saw that early in the game yesterday. Coach Schaefer putting the game in motion, whether it be sacrifice bunts, hit and runs, straight steals. When these guys get on the base pass, they like to keep the opponent on the edge of their seats.
As well as the fans here. We love to see it.
The 1-2 pitch misses down. Excuse me, 2-1 pitch misses down. Walsh works the count in his favor, 3-1. Grounds it towards short. The ball skips off the turf just in time to get Walsh hustling down the first base line. That was Maximiliano Fairfan skipping it over to his first baseman, Cole Murchison, to record the out.
Now we take a look at the replay here. I think he got there, but that's just
Close
me.
call.
I might be a little biased.
Mestis lines one back at Farfan for the 3rd and final out of the inning. So Torres making quick work of NNU in the top half of the 2nd inning. The Otters searching for some offense. We'll see if they can find it as we head to the home half of the 2nd. Back in the bottom of the second here at Vale Field, Jaden Shepard will lead things off for the Otters. Almost delivered a big hit for Cal State Monterey Bay in the first inning of last night's game. A two-out single to right field. Looked like it was going to score a run, but Nin Burns, the second, was able to gun down the runner at the dish. It preserved at the time a scoreless ball game, and then NNU went and answered in the bottom of the second inning and never looked back. Posted a 4 spot there, and thanks to the performance by Ernesto Lugo Canchola, went 7 shutout innings, only allowed 2 hits. Led to a dominant 14-0 effort by the Nighthawks. Shepard grounds it over to Brubaker. A routine play for the sophomore for the first out.
First baseman, number 33.
Yeah, there it is again. Calnon just has so much movement on his pitches that allow for it to just miss barrels and just dive at the last second.
I mean, he really is a tremendous story, not just for the Nighthawks, not just for the GNAC, but in Division II baseball for that matter. He was the GNAC Pitcher of the Year, but he only threw 24 innings last year.
Yeah, it is incredible what he's been able to do this season. I mean, it just carries on the legacy that NNU has for those two-way players, starting with Hayden Keller and then him and Brian Rojas, Brubaker potentially.
Oh, Brubaker will be the next. A shallow fly ball lifted into left field, and it's Brubaker making a leaping grab for the out. Man, Rojas, Casey Wayne, and Gavin Brubaker all converging on that thing pretty much at the same time, but it's the shortstop that calls it off at the last second. Brubaker, a little jump to secure the catch.
And how fun is that for Calnon to watch, knowing, oh yeah, I'd probably make that play camped without all the theatrics, and then Brubaker to come down with it. I mean, just giving him more confidence in the guys behind him. Makes it so much easier as a pitcher to just be able to go right after hitters, knowing you have a great group of guys behind you.
Slider misses off the inside corner to start the at-bat for Javier Felix. That fastball hits the outside corner for strike one. With that last out, Cole Calnon has now thrown 90 innings this season. Only the 5th pitcher in program history to hit that mark in a single season. And as I mentioned a moment ago, he only threw 24 innings all of last season.
Yeah, just such a workhorse for this team. I mean, and he doesn't get days off like normal starters do. I mean,
goes out and plays shortstop. That's the interesting thing about him, and this is kind of the way that he normally prefers it. I mean, they had this long conversation knowing he was going to be a starting pitcher earlier this year. Do you want to throw at the beginning of the series and then play shortstop, or play shortstop for 2 to 3 games and then pitch? And he likes playing in the field and then pitching, and right now he is pitching awfully well. 1, 2, 3. Go the Otters here in the bottom half of the second inning, and for the second straight inning, Calnon ends it with a K.
On campuses nationwide, the NCAA is making transformative changes for student athletes. While they pursue their biggest dreams, we're launching new initiatives to help them. Life-changing education opportunities are just the start. The NCAA is providing enhanced mental health services. We're guaranteeing scholarships and tuition and expanding access to healthcare. Visit ncaa.org/change to learn more.
Nine 1-2 due up for the Nighthawks in the top half of the third inning.
Number 33, Jason Bell.
Jason Bell getting the start behind the plate for the Nighthawks. You go back to the West Regional, and NNU found themselves down to Point Loma in an elimination game last Saturday, trailing 2-1, and Bell kind of got the hit that really started the comeback for the Nighthawks. Singled into center field, and he was pinch ran for, but that was ultimately the run that came around and tied the game, and NNU went on to win that game 3-2, advancing to the program's first ever Super Regional.
Yeah, he's been kind of a sneaky spark plug for this offense at times. I mean, go back to the first game of the season. He's the Nighthawk who hit the first home run of the season.
He did.
And so you look around, the guys on the team with all that power and stuff. It wasn't on my bingo card, but he's like, hey, I'm a good power hitter too when I need to be. And he's shown that at times this year.
It's also crazy because Bell checks in at 6'4", and NNU likes to also use Drew Deal behind the plate as well. Both those guys kind of split time at catcher, but Deal's 5'7", so a pretty big height disparity between the two catchers for NNU.
Yeah, and to go back on what we were saying yesterday, I mean, they're holding runners at bay, both of them. I mean, it's a team stat. They have, I don't remember the number, I think it's 33 or something close to that, the guys that have ran on them, and it's a pretty low number.
The 2-2 pitch from Torres. Breaking ball misses away. He's had a tough time bringing that back over the plate.
Yeah, his fastball's definitely been his command pitch. I would assume he goes with it here.
3-2 pitch, trying to prevent a leadoff walk here to start the top of the third. Pitch misses up high to the 6'4" Jason Bell, and he's going to take a free pass and trot on down to first base. And now a leadoff walk as NNU turns the lineup over for Nin Burns.
Top of the third inning here, Torres pitch count already at 41. There's been some deep counts that this NNU team has been able to get into, and then hopefully force that bullpen out of Monterey Bay, which they did really well yesterday.
Burns fouls off the first pitch from Torres. A transfer from Texas Southern University. It's his first season at NNU, but immediately named first team All-GNAC. He works behind 0-2 in this at-bat. Now you're going to see him get right up on the plate. He crowds the plate with 2 strikes. Still has the ability, got great hands to drive the ball the other way, despite just being on top of the plate. Torres tosses over to first base. I meant to ask Nin last time I talked to him. You know, he's been hit by 11 pitches this season, near the team lead. Not the team lead, but it's up there. I wonder how many of those have happened with 2 strikes when he gets right up on top of the plate. Back up the middle. Oh, Cal State Monterey Bay perfectly placed to roll the double play. That's Javier Felix that steps on second base and throws it over to first.
Now batting third baseman number 7, Brian Rojas.
The Otters doing their homework.
Yeah, Nin doing exactly what he wants to do with 2 strikes there, just putting the ball in play, and right back up the middle typically means a single, but Coach White had the good scouting report there.
Yeah, I believe that's only the third double play that Nin has rolled into this season, but hard to avoid it right there. Brian Rojas will now hit with 2 outs.
Rojas has a really good approach and stays within his plan every at-bat.
And that's his whole thing, too. He says that never wants to do too much. Pulls it down the first base line. An easy play for Cole Murchison. Man, the easiest inning so far for Torres as he'll head to the dugout. But again, this potent Otters offense still trying to find their first run of this Super Regional.
On campuses nationwide, the NCAA is making transformative changes for student athletes. While they pursue their biggest dreams, we're launching new initiatives to help them. Life-changing education opportunities are just the start. The NCAA is providing enhanced mental health services. We're guaranteeing scholarships and tuition and expanding access to healthcare. Visit ncaa.org/change to learn more.
Cole Calnon has worked a relatively clean score sheet so far. No runs, no hits allowed. Max is trying to dig in and find something out about Cole Calnon. What is it about his routine? What is it about him that maybe makes him unique or stands out? And something that I found out about him, again, he's a two-way player, plays shortstop more than he pitches, but I was told he hasn't thrown a bullpen this season.
Yeah, that's definitely different from the norm. But I remember when I was here, I used to not throw as many bullpens. I would kind of like to do live at-bats more, just keep me sharp. And especially with a pitcher like Cole that has pitches that like to move a lot, gives him good feedback when he can actually face a batter. Has weak contact there, barely made it to Rojas.
Maximiliano Farfan grounds a high hopper over to Rojas. He can't field it, and the Otters have their first hit of the game. Tough play for Rojas.
Yeah,
knowing that Farfan was getting down the line.
Yeah, hit's a good call there. I don't think even if Rojas fields that cleanly that there was a chance they had at him. But Cole Callan, again, just missing barrels like he's supposed to.
If we're being honest, I mean, for one of the best offenses in the country, this team's hit 77 home runs this season, the most in school history. But Cal State Monterey Bay has not made solid contact much at all over the first two games of this series.
Yeah, that's just, credit to the two starting pitchers there. They have a game plan that Hollid came up with, and, Hollid's such a good planner that if they just execute that plan, then they're going to have a lot of success.
That ball is going to find its way out into right field, and after experiencing the Nin Burns show last night, the runner wisely pulls up at second base.
Yeah, I think they have a pretty good idea on what that arm looks like out there in right, so they're going to be pretty cautious with that. Cardinalson to make the first out at third, so they didn't want to test the waters there.
So the Otters with some traffic on the base pass. They have Farfan at second, and Dominic Felice singling into right field. He's at first. Now the 9-hitter steps into the batter's box. He squares the bunt. Ball popped up in the air, and man, a costly mistake there for Andrew Layman, trying to move the runners up into scoring position. Instead, pops it up in the air, and it's Jason Bell that settles under it quickly, pops that mask off, and catches it for a big out here in the bottom of the third.
Yeah, that's a pretty hard play for a catcher to make with that backspin. It went straight up for him to find it that quickly because it didn't go very high. It was a very good play by Bell there.
Jimmy Garcia 0 for 1 today. 272 hitter, 22 RBI this season. Calnon drops that one on the outer half of the dish, misses just away, and now it's a 2-0 count for Garcia. Likely going to get a pitch to hit right here from Calnon. Goes to his slider, loves to go to that pitch. I don't know if he throws that as much as you did when you were here, Max, but Cole Calnon really a three-pitch guy, fastball, slider, changeup, and he leans on that slider quite a bit. Lifted to center field. Carter Walsh is going to get under this one, and the runner Farfan thinks about tagging, instead holds at second for
Now batting third baseman number 10, Jacob.
Yeah, that was
a
a great
wise
throw.
decision.
Great throw out
Yeah.
of Walsh there. I mean, this Nighthawk outfield, they're known for their speed for sure, but they can throw the ball when they need to and put it in a pretty good spot to get a runner out.
Wow, so after back-to-back singles to start the bottom of the third, 2 quick outs for Colt Calnon.
Yeah, as you were saying, Jay, he does like that slider, but I think that is a record that'll never be broken, is the percentage of sliders thrown.
They still had a tough time hitting you, man. 12 saves when you were here, the single-season record. Your Ks per 9 was over 15. Like the number 2 on that list is like at 11.
Yeah, it was a good little run, and Hall had allowed me to do that too. I mean, I also threw a curveball, so I mean, they're just both breaking pitches. One was 12-6, went more up and down than the slider. It was more of a power slurve, but I had a whole lot of fun throwing it, and Hall had just said, hey, you know, whatever. They're both field pitches, and he let me kind of pick and choose at the right time when to throw them.
Ball lifted, smashed into left field, and it looks like the Otters will have their first run of this Super Regional. Jacob Dressler delivering a big hit to drive in Maximiliano Fairfan. A tie game here at Vale Field. And now you have KW Quilici stepping into the batter's box for the Otters. A chance for Cal State Monterey Bay to build some momentum here with 2 outs in the third and a tie game.
Yeah, Calnon again is getting pretty weak contact there. These Otters are just finding those holes around the field. I think that ball was pretty much stopped by the time Casey Wayne got to it. Cole's still doing a good job at keeping this offense, not really powering balls into the gap, keeping them at bay.
This is a guy that can hit the ball all over the field and out of the park there. Checks his swing. They say he didn't go. The call down by the third base umpire. Now you have a 2-0 count with 2 runners on and 2 outs for one of the more gifted hitters in Division II baseball. And that pitch misses somewhere as well.
Yeah, Cole's doing a good job at painting the corners and everything. I mean, that one, I don't know.
A slider comes back over the heart of the plate. Quilici 0 for 1 today, still looking for his first hit of this Super Regional. Did walk twice yesterday, and he takes that pitch right down the heart of the plate for strike 2. So full count with 2 outs. That means the runners will be in motion. Calnon has ended both the first and second innings with a strikeout. Can he get another one here? Quilici fouls it down the first base line, and we will do it again.
Not a bad thing to get a couple foul balls here. Have the base runners run a whole bunch, getting a little tired, but I'm sure Calnon wants to sit Quilici down right here.
The GNAC Pitcher of the Year. A quick pick off to first base. Caleb Carpson was not covering, runs over. Calnon throws in behind the runner, and they're able to pick him off of first base.
That's a great heads-up play there.
Wow, to get out of that situation, knowing the runners are going to be in motion with a full count and 2 outs in the inning, one of the best hitters in the nation up, and Colt Calnon comes up, picks off the runner at first base, and limits the damage here in the bottom of the third inning. We head to the 4th, tied at 1. What a play by NNU to get out of a bit of a jam there in the bottom of the third inning. Going back and looking at that one, I'll admit I don't know if it was the best call in the world. It was a great call by NNU to put that play on. Kind of looked like as Karpstein was coming in to receive the throw from Calnon, kind of shielded the umpire at first base, potentially. Either way, he calls the runner out. And, man, right when you thought that Cal State Monterey Bay was cooking with some fuel there on offense.
Yeah, and a great opportunity to take the bat out of Quilici's hands with runners on. I mean,
that's rough. And now you're going to see when Quilici comes back up, the count resets obviously, and now NNU can really start to mess with their defensive alignment to try to contain him. It is in the Otters' best interest for runners to be on base when Quilici steps into the batter's box. Near the top of the order here for NNU in the top of the fourth, their three-hitter Caleb Karpstein will lead things off. Fouls that pitch back of the net. 1-1's the count. Casey Wayne will follow it, followed by the pitcher Cole Calnon. Torres fires. Misses off the inside corner. 2-1 the count.
You just see Karpstein has such a great eye with pitches too. I mean, he knew where that pitch was going to end up, like he was halfway there. Stick it to his approach too, knowing that he's not going to swing at that inside curveball. As he swings and misses there, count 2-2.
He extended his hitting streak to 7 straight games yesterday, tied for his longest of the season. Trying to make it 8 here in the top half of the fourth inning. Fouls off the 2-2 pitch. He's reached base safely in 26 consecutive games. Make it 27 consecutive games as he takes that one off the backside.
Number 27, Casey Wayne.
Yeah, the on-base percentage of that guy is just super impressive. I mean,
.492 this season. He's just an on-base machine.
To have that out of your 3-hole hitter, I mean, it's almost like another leadoff guy where you expect him to get on and I mean, gives your other power hitters a chance to drive them in. And Karpstein with sneaky speed, too. I mean, he's not the fastest guy on the team, but I wouldn't consider him slow either.
Everybody in this lineup can take a bag. And while maybe the quantity isn't there, the quality is. Karpstein a perfect 5 for 5 in stolen bases this season. Don't necessarily know if Casey Wayne's the guy they put on a hit and run with, but they do love to hit and run. I think a reason why NNU is so good when it comes to putting the game in motion and hit and runs and things like that is because they're so well at driving the ball to the opposite field. We saw the lefties do it yesterday. Chris Enriquez as well as Brian Rojas hit opposite field home runs.
Designated hitter, number 4, Cole Calnon.
Casey Wayne not happy with himself in that at-bat. Chases that pitch out of the zone for the strikeout. Cole Calnon has played in every single game for NNU this season. All 57 starts. Majority of those at shortstop.
I hope he's got a pretty good masseuse. Help keep that body in check.
Yeah, he is their Iron Man, though. Just doesn't take time off. Torres has done a pretty good job today against the Nighthawks. Only has allowed the 1 run in the top of the first inning.
Now he's doing a really good job of staying around the zone with all 3 pitches. I think that one to Casey Wayne there was a changeup or sinker mix that we haven't really seen too much, but his curveball and fastball especially has been all around the zone. Has pretty good command today.
Calnon lays into this one, but it is right at KW Quilici in center field.
Now batting shortstop, number 5, Gavin Brubaker.
Barely had to move just a step or two to his right to make that grab.
Now, Nighthawks really took advantage of the wind yesterday. I mean, that hit there yesterday, I think that makes a pretty loud sound off the wall, as well as Karpstein having a good hit earlier that got caught in left field.
Yeah, we have some cloud cover today. Yesterday it was really sunny and beautiful for really about the first 7 innings, and then some of the clouds started to move in, and you could feel the temperature drop just a little bit. But a few degrees cooler today, and as you mentioned, that flag out there in right field is just motionless.
Coach Holland would joke, wind blowing straight down. Guy's a nut.
He's done such a good job with this pitching staff for NNU. The offense gets so much credit, so much attention, deservedly so, but their arms have been outstanding this season. Brubaker gets a better piece of that one, but it's still foul. It's pretty cool. I've covered NNU for a few years now, working at a local TV station. We're streaming live on KTV Plus as well as NNUsports.com. But over the years, talking with Joe Schaefer, this is his 7th year as the head coach at NNU. I can't tell you how routinely he brings up Matt Hullett. Like, always feels like he needs to deserve his credit for what he does for this team. He's a huge reason for their success. And you kind of love the selflessness out of Joe Schaefer, who, you know, over his career has won well over 500 games when he combined his time at Point Loma and Northwest Nazarene. A week ago today, he won his 200th career game for NNU. The runner goes from first. Brubaker fouls it to the backstop, and Karpstein has to retreat back over to first base.
It was a great jump out of Karpstein, but I think the pitch was just a little too close for Brubaker to take with 2 strikes, so did a good job of staying alive there.
I think it's also interesting, too. Joe Schaefer, you know, a lot of head coaches love to coach third. He has a seat over there right at the front of the dugout, and he is there pretty much the entire game. Brubaker trying to leave the yard here, but doesn't have the distance. Quilici goes back to the warning track and is able to take a step or 2 back into the field of play for the 3rd and final out of the inning. So another clean inning, another 0 thrown up by Torres, where we continue to stay tied at 1.
NCAA athletes don't just compete, they make history. Representing our nation with pride and excellence, they bring home the hardware. Our college campuses serve as training grounds for the next generation of stars. Catch tomorrow's Olympians and Paralympians on the NCAA Championship stage today.
KW Quilici ended the bottom of the 3rd in the batter's box, and he will now start the bottom of the 4th in the batter's box. Calnon was able to pick off the runner to end that last inning. And now, as I mentioned a moment ago, you really see NNU go with a very aggressive defensive shift against Quilici. They're playing with 4 outfielders right now. Their 3rd baseman is dropped into left field, and Quilici thinks about squaring. He does actually square and tries to bunt one down the 3rd base line. Gavin Brubaker, the shortstop, is the only player on the left side of the infield for NNU right now. But you have Rojas in left field, Casey Wayne kind of playing left center, center fielder Carter Walsh playing right center, and Nin Burns a few steps shy of the warning track out in right field. And a grounder to Karpstein, a nice play. Calinon gets over to cover first in time for the first out of the inning.
Great play by Carp there. That's kind of a tough in-between hop. He stays on. He's done that very well this year.
So at the end of the day, NNU throws a shift at Quilici, and he hits right into it. Thought about bunting, tried to drop one down the third baseline, fouled it back. That's why it's so important to have runners on when he's up. If there's anybody on base, NNU can't do that shift against Quilici. Jaden Shepard, 0 for 1 today. Had a hit yesterday, hitting .324 this season. 43 RBIs, 11 home runs, but again, he steps into the batter's box with nobody on.
Yeah, I know it's been a big goal of the pitching staff this weekend to keep Shepard at bay. Last year, I was talking about it this morning over coffee with Coach Lopez, like I talked about we were going to have. He hit a towering home run last year in the regional game off of Kyle Etheridge that probably hasn't come down yet from what I heard. That one just
Min
fouled.
Burns tries to run over there. So does Karpstein. It's going to make its way back into the Cal State Monterey Bay bullpen. Kyle Etheridge on the coaching staff here. Why you got to call out your boy like that, man?
If me and Kyle were switched, he'd be doing the same thing. But no, he's really good at keeping. He's really good at keeping track of stats and remembering those types of things. And so, I mean, there's plenty of home runs he can talk about that I've given up. So
Shepard fouls off another pitch. A transfer from Fresno State, played 20 games for the Bulldogs in 2023. Started the first 20 games, played in 31 total games. Hit .264 for the Bulldogs that season. Ever since he transferred to Cal State Monterey Bay, he's been one of the best players in the league. Had 63 RBI last year. That was second best in the CCAA. Was second in the league with 15 home runs. And, man, rinse and repeat because he's basically doing that again this season. Maybe a few less RBI, but that's just because his buddies around him in the lineup are stealing it. That ball hit well down the left field line. Another one that seemed to have the distance, just couldn't keep it straight enough. Also had a home run that, I think he probably went 400 feet down the left field line with a couple of runners on, but hooked it just foul last night. So now the 3-2 count to Shepard. Checks his swing, fouls it off. Calinon still hasn't issued a walk today. He rarely does.
yeah, that's a great pitch there by Calinon to get in on Shepard there, especially after him hooking one foul left side.
Calinon has 1 walk or less in 8 of his 13 starts this season. As Shepard fouls off another 2-strike pitch. He's only walked more than 2 batters once all year. He issued 3 free passes against Central Washington back in mid-April. His 1.43 walks per 9 allowed for his career, the lowest mark in NNU history. Wade Duncan, the closer for this NNU team, is second on that list. Wow, smash back up the middle, but a perfect defensive alignment by NNU. How about Jake Mestis right there?
That's a great play. And, I mean, that's even, hard to see because that ball was very close to Calinon. As a defender behind him, you could easily lose that in Calinon's body, and then the ball's just right there. So both players having good reaction time. Calinon getting out of the way. I don't know if that was planned or not. That ball was hit pretty hard.
First pitch swinging for Murchison. Over to field it. Casey Wayne for the third out, and now NNU retreats to their dugout looking for runs. Still tied at 1 as we go to the 5th.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's will you?
moving along nicely, Max. Through 4 innings, we're going into the 5th, tied at 1, and these pitchers really kind of starting to find their groove.
Oh, absolutely. And Torres here for Monterey Bay is doing a really good job. I've noticed his fastball doesn't have a whole lot of velocity, like I said, but it's getting kind of under the bats of the Nighthawk hitters. They're fouling it back quite a bit or swinging through. We've seen a couple strikeouts with that pitch up in the zone. As Walsh.
Carter Walsh, first pitch swinging off the glove of Felix, and Walsh thought about moving up to second for a second. Instead goes back to first.
Yeah, you love to get Carter Walsh on the base paths there to start an inning.
One of the harder hit balls for NNU today.
As I was saying, Torres' fastball, it looks like it has a little extra life on it, and that's really due to spin rate a lot of the time. I'll go back to Kyle Etheridge, one of the best to do that. His fastball was not very hard, but he got a lot of swing and misses because it seemed to almost rise to the hitters.
And an opposite field poke by Mestis. Made that nice defensive play in the bottom half of the 4th, and now comes up with a single here in the top half of the 5th. So 2 pitches, 2 singles for the 7-8 hitters for the Nighthawks, and that's going to bring up Jason Bell, the 9-hitter. Don't know the type of bunter he is.
Yeah, I'm not too sure on that either. I wish I did know, but I'm sure that something's going to be put on here. Hopefully get runners in motion. They're going to talk about it.
And NNU loves to put the game in motion. We'll see if they do it here.
These two guys had a similar inning, Walsh and Mestis against Point Loma, both getting back-to-back singles in that game. I believe we scored that inning, so hopefully we see that again here.
Torres in a jam, hasn't really faced this type of trouble since the top half of the first one. NNU scored their lone run of this contest, trying to play add-on here. If NNU wins, they are headed to Cary, North Carolina in the Division II College Baseball World Series. Cal State Monterey Bay, on the other hand, needs a win to keep their season alive, facing elimination. Westmont tried to knock them out last week. They were unsuccessful at doing that. The Otters answered the call, winning that regional. Bell squares to bunt again and lays down a beauty. It's going to get the job done. Torres pounces off the mound, throws over to first. But the 6'4" catcher advances the runners 90 feet, and now we go back to the top of the order for one of the best run producers in school history. Nin Burns II will come up with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, that's a great job by Jason Bell there. You typically don't want to bunt it back to the pitcher, but with the speed of the Nighthawks, I mean, the pitcher did look up, and Walsh was already on third by the time he even could make the throw. So good job for Bell to get that ball down.
A critical moment in this game, and the Otters are going to talk about how they want to approach this. It is pick your poison at this point in time in the NNU lineup. Nin Burns hitting over 350 this season.
Looks like Torres trying to plead his case to Coach White.
Behind Burns, you have Brian Rojas, the hottest hitter in the lineup. And after him, Caleb Karpstein, the offensive MVP of this team. And that's going to do it for Torres. A solid outing for the lefty. And I think anybody will tell you that Nate Rolachek, who started last night for Cal State Monterey Bay, he's their ace. But what a season by Torres. You look at his numbers, he would confuse you because he was the guy that was 6-1 and pitching in the CCAA with a 3.69 ERA. I don't know what that would translate to in the GNAC, but it would be much, much lower. That conference is known for what they do in the box more so than what happens on the mound.
Oh, absolutely. That is a power hitting conference for sure. I mean, to have that ERA, I mean, that's a great ERA with the innings and everything. Torres did a pretty good job at keeping the Nighthawks at bay, but there is some trouble here for the Otters.
So the one thing about yesterday's game for Cal State Monterey Bay, they had to go to their bullpen pretty early, but they didn't use any of their, what I would consider their elite arms to finish out that game. So their bullpen is stocked and loaded here to try to attack NNU. And in this situation, they're going to go to Drew Aguiar. He is one of their best out of the bullpen. 18 appearances this season. He's 1-1, a 2.25 ERA, and 32 strikeouts and 28 innings of work.
Yeah, almost kind of like a setup role, it looks like, but facing an elimination game, and if you got to go to one of your better arms here, Coach White's going to do that, and it looks like they've gone to him in some pretty big moments, and to have that ERA as low as it is, Nighthawks have their work cut out for them here.
What a situation to walk up on the mound and try to face, though, because NNU back at the top of the order, 1, 2, and 3 due up with only one out. Here in the top half of the fifth inning, scores tied at 1 with 2 runners in scoring position. You have Mestis over at third. Excuse me, Mestis is going to be at second, standing at third right now, but he trots back out to second as we resume action with Carter Walsh at third.
Looking at the warm-up pitches, looks like we're going to see a little bit more velocity than we saw out of Torres.
Yeah, absolutely. Aguiar can bring it. A big, powerful 6'3", 220-pound frame. He's a junior out of California, transferred from Sierra College. And he looks in at one of the premier hitters in the GNAC. Fastball, swung on and missed. Aguiar going right after Burns.
Just some good power on power right there. Would have loved to see that ball get connected and see how far it would have went.
Aguiar rocks and fires again. Another fastball on the outer half of the plate, fouled off by Burns. Aguiar coming in, getting to work right out of the bullpen. An 0-2 count in his favor.
And Burns going to shorten up here, which could work in his favor. We haven't seen an off-speed pitch yet out of Aguiar.
Way outside. Honestly, a good job there by Dominic Felice to pounce outside. The go-ahead run 90 feet away. A 1-2 pitch. Misses high. So Burns has worked the count back to even.
Again, not an off-speed pitch yet. I don't know if he's just super comfortable with this fastball. And then Burns a little late on the first 2 and then hasn't found the zone the other 2.
Ball 3 misses outside.
Looked like a slider there. Pretty good pitch. Just a little too far outside to get Burns to bite there.
Hacks at that one, fouls it off.
That's a great battle there, too, out of Burns. Just being able to fight that pitch after seeing the off-speed. Having that short approach that he's just so used to at 2 strikes really going to help him out in at-bats like this.
Burns with 52 RBI on the season, a team high, closing in on the single-season school record, which is 58. Not going to happen here as Aguiar blows him away with the high heat. A big pitch as now you take any sacrifice fly, infield grounder out of play. Brian Rojas going to have to answer the call here with 2 runners on and 2 outs. Rojas with 76 hits on the season, only 3 shy of the school record. Takes a fastball away. It's almost hard to find a pulse on this guy. I was talking to him after last night's game when he had just a tremendous performance and was pretty ho-hum about it.
Oh, a lot of these transfers, I mean, they really do a good job. They like almost come in just super matured, and I think that's a big part of their success is you have the returning guys from last year that know the playoff pressure, and then to get more guys that not only are at that level but help enhance it. I mean, it really is helping this team in this playoff run.
The 2-0 pitch. Will this get through? Felix tries to make a play, but it gets through to the outfield, and 2 runners come around to score. Brian Rojas with another clutch hit. He is as hot as ever for NNU. Walsh and Mestis touch home. It is 3-1 Nighthawks. Now hitting over 500 in regional play. Another multi-hit game for Rojas.
It's just incredible what Rojas and Karpstein have been able to do. I mean, with their approaches to the plate.
There goes Rojas. He's going to have to go back to first base as Karpstein fouls it off.
Even Rojas just rolling that pitch over. I mean, the shift was on because they're just so good at going the opposite way, where it's almost like, okay, even if we do beat them, they still have all that room on that right side.
Just a wild stat. That's the 21st multi-hit game for Rojas this season. He's making his 52nd, or he's appearing in his 52nd game this season.
Yeah, incredible.
Darn near 40% of the time, he's coming up with a multi-hit game for NNU.
Yeah, you have that stat with Rojas, Nin Burns leading the team in home runs in the leadoff spot, and then Caleb Karpstein with a 500 on-base percentage. I mean, the first 3 guys in this lineup.
Just a nightmare for any pitching staff to go against. Karpstein chops it towards second. It actually deflects off of second base, and that's going to get into shallow right field. Oh, kind of a gift from the baseball gods right there in favor of NNU. It looked like it was going to be a routine play. I mean, it really seemed like Fairfan was going to go over there, field that ball, step on second base, and get out of this thing.
Yeah, and again, I mean, that's just another part. Monterey Bay has not done a good job of charging the baseballs here on this turf. That one, obviously hitting the base is pretty lucky if you're an NNU fan, but that ball was hit pretty slow. He probably thought he had time with Rojas coming into second, but you got to go attack that baseball.
Fouled off by Casey Wayne. So Rojas at third and Karpstein at second. Check that. Karpstein at first. He deflected the ball off of second base.
Casey Wayne, a pretty good fastball hitter here, so this could be another pretty
nice
good
matchup, right? Gosh, to see the ball hit like that, deflect off second base. Watched a lot of games. I'm sure I've seen it before, but, man, that thing was just hit perfectly.
The fact that it shot off kind of towards right field.
I mean, Felix almost looked like he had a chance, but it ricocheted too quick for him to try to get in front of it. Casey takes that pitch down low, 1-1's the count. He had a multi-hit game last game. Smashes that one towards left field, but a great jump by Jimmy Garcia. Coming on to make a big catch and limit the damage here in the top half of the 5th inning. But NNU strikes for 2. The Nighthawks move back in front on the scoreboard as we go to the bottom of the 5th.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Leading off for the Otters, second baseman, number 40, Javier Felix.
NNU gets 2 big runs in the top half of the 5th inning. Brian Rojas with the 2-run single to put NNU back in front. How does Cal State Monterey Bay answer?
Calnon's going to respond with a first pitch strike there, something he's been very good at all day.
I know it's simple, but man, that lifts your defense. After you score a couple runs, get out there and throw strikes. Misses low and away there against Javier Felix. Just to let you know what the Otters are up against right now, Cole Calnon is making his 14th start of the season, right, Max? He is only allowed more than 3 runs one time this year. And right now, NNU has 3 runs on the scoreboard.
That's a pretty good place to be if you're a Nighthawk fan.
Felix 0 for 1 with the strikeout today, still hitting .319 on the season. Another guy with double-digit home runs. Might add to that total. Powers that thing towards center field. Well hit, not high enough. Carter Walsh over to make the grab for the first out. One of the harder hit balls for Cal State Monterey Bay.
Yeah, absolutely. He's probably wishing it was yesterday there, but then again, Nighthawks have had quite a few hits similar, so pick your poison there.
Maximiliano Fairfan now into the batter's box for the Otters. Watches that pitch bend just low out of the strike zone. Caught a lot of the plate, but a little low, near the same spot as the last hitter, and pretty much the same result. Fairfan gets into one, but Carter Walsh right there to make the grab for the second out. I think you said this to me prior to the game. Somebody did. Carter Walsh loves playing center field when Cole Calnon's out there on the mound. Usually gets a little more action.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's typically what happened against Point Loma also. The left side of the infield got a little bit of action from the right-handed hitters, and then as the game progresses, hitters are making small adjustments, but gives the outfield a little bit of time to run around, make some plays for them.
Dominic Felice, the switch-hitting senior catcher, try to get something going for the Otters with 2 outs, and he does. Gets that one past a diving Rojas for a 2-out single. Kind of taking a page out of the NNU playbook right there. NNU good at going the opposite way, and a nice hit there by Felice.
Yeah, he got a good piece of that. Being able to shoot it down that line.
Andrew Lehman popped up that bunt in his first at-bat, trying to sacrifice a couple runners over into scoring position. An unfortunate outcome for him, trying to get a little redemption here with 2 outs. Calnon just continuing to go to work. Throws a slider, and Lehman able to hang in there and hit it right back up the middle and into center field. Good job by him staying on that pitch and going right back up the middle. And now the Otters turn over their lineup with a couple of runners on.
Right there with back-to-back hits. I mean, no damage has been done because of those. And if you have runners on from walks or hit by pitches, then, those could be pretty big hits. But since Calnon will not give you anything, you really do have to string together a couple hits to get a score working.
So Matt Hollid, the associate head coach and pitching coach for NNU, strolls out to the mound. The pace of that might suggest that somebody's getting loose in the bullpen, but at the moment, nobody is even stirring over there.
I mentioned Hollid being a great game player. He will walk out to the mound with the same pace every time for that exact reason, for the other opposing team thinking that same thing. Does a little courtesy jog back. And I mentioned a lot, he's a great player. He's also one of the funniest guys on the team. Like,
you kind of have to be if you're a pitching coach, though, right?
Absolutely, yeah. But it is.
It's part of your role.
It's incredible how much thought goes into to each and every game. I mean, he tells me that he's just mentally exhausted after weekends, especially like last weekend in the GNAC Championship, just mentally drained. But he knows how to have fun and get everybody on the team laughing.
First pitch strike by Calnon. Second pitch strike by Calnon as that one comes over and catches the inside corner. And Jimmy Garcia going to have to go to work down 0-2 with 2 runners on and 2 outs. Down 2 in an elimination game for Cal State Monterey Bay. The payoff pitch misses outside. Calnon misses up and in. Garcia is kind of maybe trying to argue. Maybe that one grazed him? Not exactly sure.
It wasn't close.
Yeah, and now you have Walt White coming out to voice his concerns, we'll say. Trying to ask the home plate umpire maybe to consult some of the field umpires. I'm not going to lie, if that's the case, Garcia's got to do a little bit better job selling that thing, in my opinion.
I don't know why we're talking about this here. The home plate umpire has the best view on that. His head's right there.
You feel like that's the case, but man, Garcia's got to try to sell that thing a little bit better. And now all of the umpires are going to gather and talk this through. Kind of agree with you. It feels like the home plate umpire should certainly have the best view of that. I mean, he's 3 feet away versus everybody else all the other umpires are probably at least 100 feet away.
All right, and the call here, you have the replay here on the screen. Give it another look, but to overturn this, that means one of the umpires would have had to seen it physically hit him, and that's pretty hard to do at 110 feet away. I don't understand why this is taking a little while.
In a big moment, have to sort it out. Obviously, Otter's trying to buy a call because, well, they need one at this point in time. Trying to find a way to get back in this game. Still continuing to discuss this thing right in front of the pitcher's mound. A long deliberation at a key point in the game. A thorough discussion. They are still out there talking about this thing. They know they have to get it right. On one hand, you could have Jimmy Garcia at the plate with 2 strikes on him and 2 runners on. On the other hand, you could have the bases loaded with Jacob Dressler coming up and 2 outs. That is if they deem that Garcia was indeed hit. Man, I know they put a pitching clock on you guys a couple of years ago. I feel like we almost need an umpire clock. That was a good solid 60 to 90 seconds, maybe even more of them just kind of hanging out there trying to figure this thing out. But at the end of the day, the call will remain the same. They're going to say it's a ball, so a 2-2 count, and Garcia will remain in the batter's box. Calnon gets Garcia to lift one to Burns in right field, and actually it's Carter Walsh that calls off Burns at the last second. He makes the grab. Garcia frustrated with himself, screaming into his helmet. The Otters leave 2 runners on, and that is the exact deficit that they trail by here as we go to the 6th.
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Leading off for the Nighthawks, designated
After coming in the middle of last inning, Drew Aguiar still out there on the bump for the Otters. He will start the top of the 6th after getting that final out on the mound. Cole Calnon sprints into the dugout and heads out to the batter's box to lead off in the top of the 6th inning.
Such a good feeling for Calnon here to get on base, trying to help himself out and a couple more runs on the board. But like you said, average of giving up 3 runs, or 3 runs is the most that he's given up in a game. He definitely wants another run to come across. But Nighthawks last night did a good job of preserving their bullpen.
Oh, I was just going to say that. Yep.
They have the trio of Zayas, Eiley, and Duncan that is as good as anybody at the D2 level for a back end.
I mean, you look at their top bullpen arms, really all of them are available. Throw Josh Bishop and Adam Brooks into that group as well. Those guys have each appeared in 15 games this season. But, yes, the more lethal trio you pointed out. And, man, Zayas and Duncan in particular have been so good for NNU this season. NNU is really hard to beat when they lead late in games. How about a bunt attempt by Calnon, charging hard. Dressler makes the off-balance throw to first, not in time, and Calnon reaches to start the top of the 6th.
Gosh, he's just such a good baseball player. I saw him last at bat take a peek over at the third baseman, wondering if he was going to do it there, but, I mean, had everybody fooled. Just a perfectly placed bunt. Nothing that third baseman for Monterey Bay could do.
And this is where you get a feeling here that NNU is going to start to make the Otters kind of feel the heat a little bit. Calnon has speed at first base. Brubaker can lay down a bunt. He can also leave the yard. A perfect hit and run opportunity as well. Has the ability to drive the ball to the opposite field. And then you just put so much pressure on opposing defenses.
Yeah, and you got arguably the fastest players all coming up here.
Aguiar keeping Calnon honest over at first base. Calnon, 17 stolen bases on 21 attempts this season. Aguiar misses high and inside to Brubaker.
Something else to point out about that bunt there is you know that you're going to be running as hard as you possibly can down to first base. I mean, being a guy who's played in every single game, pitching, and then just continuing to put his body just through the ringer and put it on the line for this team. Incredible competitor over. That's a perfect spot for him to make an impact on this team, being the third base coach. And he does a great job scouting the arms of the outfield, the angles, just a good baseball player over there as well, being able to use his talents to help this team.
Look like NNU put on the hit and run there. Brubaker fouls it back. He finds himself in a 1-2 count. There goes Calnon again, and Brubaker fouls it off again.
Having a good hitter with Brubaker, who has the power and the ability to put the ball in play with speed as well. I mean, the hit and run is really, it only hurts you if he just smokes a line drive at somebody, which he can definitely do hard off the bat.
Well, it seems like Aguiar's leaned on his fastball, but being in a 1-2 count, it would suggest maybe an off-speed pitch. A favorable pitch potentially for Calnon to run on. He'll go back to first as Aguiar tosses over there again.
And Aguiar spent a good majority of his pitches when he was warming up, working on that off-speed pitch. I think I saw him throw one fastball. The rest were off-speed, trying to get a good feel for it.
See what he goes with here. He chooses off-speed, and it actually drills Brubaker in the head. He removes his helmet here for a second. It looks like he's all right. You would hate to get hit by an Aguiar fastball, but that one, a bender that didn't bend enough. Let's just say that.
Now batting center fielder number 39, Carter Walsh.
And he wears that flap there that not everybody does wear to protect his face. Brubaker does, so kind of a good thing. He's still kind of moving his head around a little bit, but he's a tough guy. Another guy I've heard in the weight room just can move some weight. Just a really tough guy. Schaefer gives some signs to.
Yeah, we'll see what they put on here. Obviously, Carter Walsh can handle the bat. Looks like Cal State Monterey Bay expecting a bunt, and that is what happens. A beauty laid down the third baseline. Dressler going to go over to first. Walsh dives into first base. The throw by Dressler, a good one for the first out, but Walsh does his job moving the runners up.
Just a perfect bunt by Walsh there. You want, in a situation like that, you want the third baseman to field that ball so he can't go and get that lead runner, which with the speed that was on the base pass was going to be hard to do.
So now Schaefer emerges from the dugout, calls together a little meeting of the minds with Mestis due up.
You see Chris Enriquez with a helmet on. You don't know where we could use him.
Yeah.
Probably not with Mestis, since he is an important part of the defensive situation behind with Calnon on the mound, but definitely with Drew Deal able to catch, possible switch for Jason Bell.
So that is something that you do lose at times, especially when Cole Calnon not only pitches but he hits, and that is the case today. But you lose the bat of Chris Enriquez. He hit a home run yesterday. Over 50 RBI for him on the season. So you have him off the bench if and when you need him. But it will be Mestis here, fouling the first pitch straight back.
Mestis, from what I'm seeing, he's just not afraid to go out there and play good, hard baseball. I mean, freshman guy coming in and having to play second base. Kind of a platoon guy. I mean, he's going to get one game a weekend. And that was only half the case because Walsh was playing second when Arachiga was out in center.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, that's how this is affected. A big reason why Mestis is probably playing today is Arachiga. He was hurt, as we mentioned yesterday, back in the West Regional. So now Carter Walsh has to stay out there in center field instead of moving into second base. Cal State Monterey Bay is going to bring the infield in here, by the way, with one out and runners on second and third. High fastball. Mestis swings and misses.
I think a Mestis single here keeps Jason Bell in the game. If not, we get to 2 outs. We might see Enriquez. It's probably the thought process here from Coach Schaefer.
Swung on and missed. A big pitch by Aguiar to get the second out of the game. Second out of the inning. Bell looks over in the dugout. It is going to be his responsibility to hit with 2 outs here, it looks like.
Which, again, has been a spark plug for this offense at times. I mean, what a great time to do it right now it would be. Help keep even more momentum in that Nighthawk dugout. On that pitch pretty well. Just a little out in front, a little under it.
Bell's laid down a meaningful sack bunt in this game. He's also walked. Drew Aguiar trying to close out his second consecutive inning. He's allowed 3 hits, struck out 2, no walks. Hits the outside corner with the fastball, and now he finds himself ahead 0-2. The only runs that Aguiar allowed, both did not belong to him. Steps off the mound.
Yeah, it almost seemed like he had his hands come before the step off there. That was pretty close to a balk in my opinion.
The 0-2 pitch to Bell, way outside. Felice does a great job getting out there to prevent that thing from potentially getting to the backstop and allowing an opportunity there for Callinon at second. Excuse me, Callinon at third.
Yeah, absolutely saved a run there because with him having to almost dive for that ball, you can't really get up too quick for that catcher's gear.
Ooh, tough pitch there by Aguiar. Just misses off the outside part of the plate. Bell thinks about it, holds back, and now it's a full count. So after finding himself in an 0-2 hole, the count runs to full.
You got to think Aguiar's going to the fastball here. That was a really good pitch for Bell to lay off, but
pitch misses away. 4 straight balls, and now Bell walks down to first for the second time tonight.
Now batting right fielder number 21, Min Burns, the second.
And that's going to bring out Walt White to chat with Aguiar. Plenty of action down there in the Cal State Monterey Bay bullpen. We'll see what they decide to do here. Nin relatively quiet tonight, 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts. It's coming off of a performance where he was 3 for 6 yesterday. He reached base in 31 consecutive games at one point this year. 1 week ago, Point Loma ended that streak.
yeah, I think Nin wants to see Aguiar again. Got him to strike out last at bat, but Nin was he was on some of those pitches that I think he wants back. And that's what he's going to get. Aguiar stays in the game. Let's see if Nin can do some damage for the Nighthawks.
Nin has 21 multi-hit games. That leads NNU this season. Still looking for his first hit tonight. Senior hails from California. Has had a few pit stops at a couple of different colleges before eventually making it here to NNU. Another ball from Aguiar. Burns had one heck of a season at Texas Southern last year and having one heck of a season for the Nighthawks. The bases juiced. Ooh.
Just a little late on that, but then knowing he's probably going to get a fastball here, the off-speed pitch has gotten away from Aguiar quite a few times with hitting Brubaker in the head and then getting away from Jason Bell.
Another high heater. Man, he got 2 guys just going after it right now. Aguiar fearlessly firing fastballs at Nin Burns.
Then going to shorten up here, but he's still got enough power even with that short stance to still leave the yard. But Nighthawks just looking to get the base runners moving.
Aguiar goes to his off-speed pitch, misses low and away. 1-2 the count. NNU trying to add some insurance. They lead 3-1. Cal State Monterey Bay trying to extend their season one more game. Burns to center field. Gualichi under it with ease. And Aguiar leaves them loaded with the big pitch in the top of the 6th. The Otters trail by 2, trying to make a comeback here in an elimination game.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
tell you, no rest for the weary. Cole Calnon back out to start the bottom of the 6th inning on the mound. In between the bottom of the 5th and bottom of the 6th, though, he led off the top of the 6th with a single. He was out on the base past the entire inning. Kid's going to probably go 30 real minutes without actually getting a chance just to take a seat.
Yeah, no, that's out there, being out there for that full inning, not getting to kind of rest your legs, sit down a little bit. But as we've seen, he's a competitor and a gamer. He's been doing it all year.
Yep. You feel like if the Otters are going to try to get back into this thing, this is when it's going to happen. Jacob Dressler, their 2-hitter, going to lead off here, followed by KW Kulichi and their cleanup hitter, Jaden Shepard. Grounder over to second. Mestis up easy over to first. A soft hit ground ball by Jacob Dressler for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, that ball had some spin on it, too. That last little hop kind of handcuffed Mestis a little bit, able to stay with it and get the out.
And now Brian Rojas, the third baseman, going to jog out into left field, and because nobody's on for KW Kulichi, he's going to have to hit with 4 outfielders. Attempted a bunt his last at-bat down the third baseline. We'll see if he does it again. Nope, he's swinging away. Hammered right at Carter Walsh. Gets turned around for a second. Able to spin and make the grab. Oh. Look at him out there. And Carter's wondering what happened there for a second. Those are the toughest balls. The hard hit liners right at you. And he's even kind of playing, he shifted way over, so not a typical angle that he's probably used to fielding.
Yeah, and then playing back, I mean, I think off the bat, you're just going to expect that ball to get hit pretty hard. It was hit right on the screw, so it kind of had a diving motion to it. Carter Walsh kind of fortunate there that it stayed up as long as it did. 'Cause I don't think he really had to move that much.
If they can't play with 4 outfielders, though, that ball might be in the gap.
Oh, absolutely, no question about it. Time and time again this series, we've seen a plan executed, whether that being having a fielder right up the middle where Mestis is right now, or a 4th outfielder. I mean, the Nighthawks have done their homework on this team.
Shepard works a 3-1 count. And sometimes this game giveth and taketh. Shepard has hit a few balls really, really hard, but doesn't have a ton to show for it so far. In this case, he takes that one up and away. Cole Calnon issues a rare walk. Shepard goes down to first. Murchison will now get a chance to hit with 2 outs.
That third out's always just the hardest one to get in an inning, and I know Cole just wants to go and sit, grab a nice drink of water. Pretty quick inning so far, so hopefully we can get him the rest that he's wanting.
You can see some of the guys in the bullpen just beginning to stretch out a little bit. It's the 81st pitch of the evening for Calnon. Comes back, slider catches the outside corner. Murchison still hitless today, 0 for 2. He does have the power to tie this thing up. 8 home runs on the season, 40 RBI. 328 batting average. He looks at a 1-1 pitch, takes it high and away. You
can kind of see Calnon needing to dig a little bit deeper this inning. Only 83 pitches, but a game where he's had to do both offense and pitch. End of the season, easier to get a little more fatigue, but he's not going down without a fight, that's for sure.
Joseph Eiley begins to heat up in a little bit of a hurry now. Sense of urgency in the NNU bullpen. Calnon's shortest outing of the season, 5 2/3. That's where he stands right now. Tries to Coming the back door with the slider, misses just off the edge of the plate, and now it's a full count. So Shepard's going to have a chance to run. Exact situation where Calnon picked off a runner at first earlier in this game. Calnon skips towards the dugout. Same placement as that last pitch. The slider missing just off the outside corner as Murchison now walks, and that's back-to-back walks for Calnon. I legitimately wonder if he's done that all season.
Well, he's showing that he is human, which
Yeah.
is maybe the first all season, but
his defense has been great behind him this evening. And his defense has been great really all weekend. They've been perfect. 0 errors yesterday, 0 errors tonight. Maybe Holland's pace a little more intentional, giving Eiley a chance to throw a few more pitches down in the bullpen. I mean, at this point in time, though, you go out there and you ask Cole, you want the ball or not, right? I mean, he's earned it, every bit of this decision.
I think that would be the case if he didn't spend all half inning on the base paths.
Yeah, all
Coach
right.
Holland's going to go to Joe Eiley here.
Okay. I mean, we mentioned that, and you might see that start to affect Calnon, right? He's been pitching all games, had to stay out on the base pass all last inning after he led off with a bunt single, and maybe you can just see running out of gas there a little bit. 86 pitches. Back-to-back walks, and Joseph Eiley will come in and take the ball. Calnon's staying out there, though, to hand him the ball.
Calnon might just be going to shortstop.
Okay.
I don't remember if he has a special infield glove compared to pitching, but we might see.
He's currently listed as the DH, so potentially if you don't want to lose the DH, he might have to come off.
Right. What a performance, though, out of Calnon. Exactly what you hoped he'd go out and do for you.
And either way, win, lose, or draw, that's probably the last time that Cole Calnon ever walks off the mound here at NNU.
And what a great way to do it also. I mean, what a great season it's been so far on the mound. We hope it continues over in Cary, but Cole Calnon, just a big staple in this team, both offensive, defensively, pitching.
So it'll be Joe Eiley. He's appeared in 11 games this season, a 1-1 record. He's thrown 18 1/3 innings, only issued 3 free passes himself, so he rarely walks people. 17 Ks. Opponents hitting .284 off of him.
Joe Eiley coming back from Tommy John surgery last year. I mean, it's been awesome to see him. A former teammate of mine, I think the only one that was on that World Series roster. It's just been great to see him kind of fight that Tommy John battle that a lot of pitchers have to go through nowadays. But one thing that I will really applaud Joe Eiley for is just the way he looks right now. He went and lost a lot of weight, got his whole body in shape. And, I mean, the first time he took them out, that was the talk of Vail Field. Hey, this is not the Joe Eiley we remember. He looks much more able to kind of throw it, and he put his whole body through that Tommy John recovery, and it's great to see him out there.
Well, Joe Schaefer will go anywhere to find somebody that he deems a fit for his roster. They got guys from Arizona, Washington, Utah, Oregon, Nevada. Heck, they even got a player from Sydney, Australia. A few from California, Arizona, but Joe Eiley from just down the road pitched at Nampa Christian High School, a 3A program. They were the state runner-up this season. Joe Schaefer's boy, Braden, played for them. I should say played because his career is now over, and he's coming here next year. First pitch is from Eiley, misses down low. Junior Felix into the batter's box, and well, Felix, a guy that can do some damage. 49 RBI this season, 11 home runs, a .318 batting average, but he's 0 for 2 today. A healthy hack as the count moves to 1-1. Cal State Monterey Bay still searching for a clutch hit. They trail by 2. They have to win this game in order to extend their season, and that one catches the outside corner. So Joseph Eiley 1 pitch away from getting out of this, out of the bullpen. The 1-2 pitch swung on and missed. Eiley with a big strikeout as the Otters leave 2 runners on for the 2nd consecutive inning. Take another look at this, Max. Buries that thing at the bottom of the zone.
Just a great off-speed pitch. Joe Eiley is not afraid to go right after guys. Was in the closer talks before we got Ty Pullman that year I was coaching with him, and he wanted that role. So you essentially have a couple guys in that back end that want to be the closer of this team. And, I mean, that attitude and just the way that they go right at hitters is incredible to watch.
We head to the 7th. NNU still leading 3-1. Cal State Monterey Bay going to their bullpen again. This time they will call on Aiden Lee to start the 7th inning. Lee used both as a starter and as a relief pitcher this year. This is his 5th relief appearance. He started 8 games. Kind of see the Otters pushing all their chips to the center of the table because Dylan Gardner, another guy that has started for them this season, he pitched yesterday. And Lee out there to pitch again today. So really you're looking at they've used basically their 3rd and 4th starters. They've used really their top 4 starters in this series.
Yeah, facing the elimination game, I mean, you got to kind of burn the ships here a little bit.
Yeah.
They're probably hoping that they can use Lee here opposed to their closer. You don't really want to go to him too early without a lead. But a lot of guys that have eaten up innings for this Monterey Bay team have been on the mound against these Nighthawks.
Mm-hmm. Lee 4-2 on the season, a 4.05 ERA, 52 Ks and almost 47 innings of work. Brian Rojas fouls that thing off.
Yeah, Rojas shaking his head a little bit. That's a little too good of a pitch to leave 0-2 there, kind of right down the middle. Rojas wishing he can get that one back.
Rojas with the shades on, steps back in. Batting average up to 375 after 2 more hits today. Had 3 hits yesterday. Towards center field. Does it have the juice? Quilici back towards the wall, leaps up against the fence and makes the catch. Rojas gave it a ride. But the CCAA Player of the Year goes back and makes the grab against the wall.
Rojas continue to have great swings.
Oh, man. Put a charge into that one. And I know you've kind of pointed this out a few times today, but that ball yesterday, at least off the wall, probably over the wall.
Easily.
Just no help from the wind. A rare game where that's the case here at Vail Field. Karpstein up the middle. Felix does a great job to field that thing, tries to flip it back to Fairfan for the throw, but Karpstein will reach.
Number 27, Casey Wade.
That's his second hit of the game.
Carp again just finding a way to get on pace.
Yeah, and guess what? Karpstein's batting average now back up to an even 400.
Pretty good off-speed pitch, maybe a cutter or slider, but great pitch to start Casey Wayne off with. He's a pretty good fastball hitter.
Just fouled down the third base line by Casey Wayne. Cal State Monterey Bay hasn't lost back-to-back games since February. In danger of doing so here in Nampa, Idaho. A super regional featuring two of the top 16 teams left in America. Cal State Monterey Bay ranked 19th in the latest poll. NNU has hovered around 10 pretty much the last, 2 months. Off-speed pitch, cued off the end of the bat by Wayne.
Yeah, Casey Wayne, as I said yesterday, had a pretty bold prediction that it's going to be hard to beat this Nighthawk team in a series, and mentioning that Chico State was the only one to do it this season. I mean, it's just fun to watch the Nighthawks play baseball. I mean, it's been great to watch this team this year, and even the last couple years, as Wayne chops one over to third.
Nice play by Dressler over to Felix. He tries to turn and fire over to Murchison at first. A little late on that throw, but they do get the force out at second.
But I mentioned that fun to watch the Nighthawks. I mentioned our newborn son, born yesterday. I mentioned it, born earlier April. But last year, my wife and I actually had our wedding on NNU's bye week. So the coaches were able to come out and a lot of the players for our wedding. So a little shout out to the wife there. But we really enjoy watching Nighthawk baseball, and we'll continue to do so.
Little Emmett Holtzclaw. Sounds like a closer.
Future Nighthawk.
There goes Wayne. The throw late. It skips away. Not far enough for Wayne to advance. The 7th stolen base of the season for Casey Wayne. He moves into scoring position with 2 outs. Cole Calnon would have the NNU record for wins in a season. He's currently chasing his 11th. If it just wasn't for his teammate Ernesto Lugo Canchola, who picked up his 12th win yesterday. Those win totals do rank 1 and 2, though, in school history for a single season.
And I'm sure Cole wants to keep this game intact and keep it the way it's been going. He could drive in Casey Wayne here to help get another run for the Nighthawks. Gets
fouled
a
off.
Couple more outs closer to getting that win.
Lee leans in. The 1-2 pitch skips. Dominic Felice again doing a good job of keeping the ball in front of him. He's been busy behind the backstop today.
An absolute machine. I mean, Nighthawks have had a little success running, stealing the bases, but, I mean, the more free bases you give up, has your chances of winning less and less, and he's just keeping the Nighthawks there with these wild pitches.
Swung on and missed. Lee gets the big strikeout against Cole Calnon. So NNU strands a runner at second. They still lead by 2. The Otters trying to get back into this thing.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
NNU 9 outs away from their first ever Super Regional Series win, and potentially their second trip to the Division II College Baseball World Series. How that works, well, Max, you know better than anyone. Back in 2021, COVID kind of just rocked the season, right? A number of the teams down in California were highly limited from playing, so yes, NNU went to the College World Series that year, but there was no Super Regional. They went straight from the West Regional right to Cary, North Carolina.
Yeah, absolutely. And Joe Eiley on the mound knows exactly what that feeling's like, and he's going to do his best to try to make sure the Nighthawks punch their ticket. One thing I did see earlier is Central Missouri and Tampa both clinched earlier, who were two teams that we faced off against in Cary. So it'd be fun to have a reunion as the Otters get a hit.
Maximiliano Fairfan delivers a single into left field to start the bottom of the 7th inning. Bottom of the order due up for the Otters. 7, 8, 9. Fairfan singles. That'll bring Dominic Felice to the plate. He's done a great job behind the plate today. We'll see how he can do beside the plate. He singled earlier, right past a diving Brian Rojas. He takes strike one.
Eiley's a pretty good ground ball pitcher. He's got a lot of sink on his fastball and also has a really good curveball and slider to go along with that. Infield's definitely ready to make a play, hopefully turn 2.
See Brubaker slightly shaded towards second base. Double play depth. Rojas creeping in just on the lip of the grass. Karpstein holds it first. Fairfan with a pretty conservative lead. Eiley delivers a fastball up and away. A 2-1 count on Felice. He's got 2 hits today. His batting average almost to 300, up to 297.
A little bit of movement in the Nighthawk bullpen. Guys just stretching out. I mean, it's pretty short leash here for these back 3 guys because they can all do a really good job of getting quick outs if we need to. Wade Duncan getting 7 his last appearance against Point Loma.
Yeah, I saw Wade after the game yesterday, joked with him. All right, if the starting pitchers were going to let him actually play this weekend. He said, hey, as long as we're winning, if I don't have to pitch, that's fine. Again, the key there, as long as they're winning. Eiley throws over to first again.
Yeah, me and Wade kind of joke around with that saves record. He talked to me about mid-season. He'd only had like 3 GNAC saves so far, about halfway through. I said, hey, buddy, that's a good problem to have. Our World Series trip, I only had 5, and I was A-okay with it.
Felice fouls off another one. Jonathan Zayas, Wade Duncan, 2 options for pitching coach Matt Holliday to potentially close this thing out. Right now, it is Joe Eiley's ball game, though. A 2-2 pitch. Felice Sends one towards Burns. He goes over to the right center field gap and fields it. Fires over to first base, but Fairfan retreats in plenty of time. Man, it looked like Felice laid into that one a little bit, but the ball just hangs up there long enough for a relatively easy catch by Burns. Burns can scoot a little bit, obviously.
Oh, the jump on Burns was really good. I mean, typically you look at the Nighthawk logos in the gaps, and if the baseball's traveling that way, there's a pretty good chance it could get down, but Nin Burns had an incredible jump on that ball.
Andrew Lehman, 1 for 2 today. Grounds one. Brubaker going to have to make a play. Goes over to second. Mestis over to first. Not exactly sure what happened there for Lehman. He stayed in the batter's box. Maybe he slipped. I'm not sure. Another replay here, but he didn't even make it halfway down the line. He did. He fell coming out of the batter's box, and NNU turns 2. Eiley gets the pitcher's best friend to send NNU back into the dugout with a chance to pad their lead as we go to the 8th. You know what, looks like Lehman is going to come out of the ball game, and Mike McKernan into right field. As the shadows start to kind of consume the outfield here at Vale Field. Hard to see the number out there, but all that I do know is that Andrew Lehman is a right-handed thrower and Mike McKernan is a left-handed thrower, and it looks like he's wearing the number 9. So Mike McKernan into the game in right field.
And I think Lehman was the one who tripped out of the box, so hopefully he's okay.
Yeah.
Coach White might just want to be making a change.
Gosh, it's kind of been one of those days. I mean, yesterday was just a rough day for the Otters. Let's face it, they lost 14-0, and there was just nothing they could do. Really, pitching, defense, offense. Today, the ball hasn't bounced their way. They got a leadoff single last inning, and it looked like, hey, maybe a threatening to turn over the order, and instead, Lehman trips coming out of the box, resulting in an inning-ending double play.
Yeah, Otters have cleaned it up defensively yesterday with 3 errors.
Yep.
None so far. Coach White's happy with that, and it is kind of tough to just come to the other ballparks. That's why being the number 1 seed and being able to host gives you that home field advantage. The Otters looking like they're playing better defense today.
Aiden Lee is back out there for Cal State Monterey Bay for his second inning of work. Gavin Brubaker takes that one off the outside part of the plate. So, count now, 2-2. Brubaker, a .309 hitter. Thinks about that one, checks his swing again, and man, I'm not going to lie, it didn't really look like he offered that much at all at that pitch, but he gets rung up by the first base umpire. Yeah, he went a little further than I thought maybe.
Yeah, it's still pretty close, and that was pretty immediate out of the umpire. I mean,
I will say Brubaker actually didn't seem to contest the call very much. For the third time tonight, Carter Walsh will get into the batter's box. He's 1 for 2. I actually believe this might be his 4th at bat. He also had a sacrifice bunt in this game. A single through the 5-hole. Walsh is aboard again. An aggressive turn. He's going to go for 2. Dives in. Carter Walsh, aggressive on the base paths.
I was just going to mention that. He comes out of the box burning, rounds first every single time hard. It's in the outfield, and there was a slight bobble out of the left fielder there, Garcia. And, I mean, that's all it took for Walsh to see that quick bobble, and he was off to the races.
Garcia's played a pretty good left field this week. I know Rojas sent a ball off the St. Luke's sign that couldn't quite come up with yesterday, but man, you give Carter Walsh an inch and he takes a mile, or at the very least 90 feet. With 1 out, he's at second base. Jake Mestis, 1 for 3 with a strikeout. Kind of have to wonder if Chris Enriquez is also looming. Chance for him to pinch hit. A chopper towards short. Mestis can't beat the throw, but Carter Walsh moves up to third base. A nice play by Maximiliano Fairfan, charging hard.
Number 33, Jason Bell.
Kind of wondered if maybe this is where you'd see Chris Enriquez, but they're going to stick with Jason Bell. He's had a good game so far. 2 walks and a sacrifice bunt.
Absolutely, and he's due for a hit too. This would be a huge opportunity for Jason Bell to get that run across, pick up the Nighthawks here with 2 outs.
Takes a strike from Lee to start the at-bat. Swung on and missed. Lee works ahead, 0-2.
0-2 pitch here. Carter Walsh, again, a very aggressive base runner. Looking for something in the dirt here that might get away, but that's almost impossible. Felix behind the dish.
See if this one can hang. A lot of foul territory down the first base line, but it's Murchison that runs out of room. Bell's going to get another opportunity. The Otters finally trying to get to Cary, North Carolina in the College Baseball World Series. Meanwhile, NNU trying to get back there for the second time in program history and the first time since 2021. Lee delivers. Catches Bell looking. A beautiful breaking ball over the heart of the plate by Aiden Lee. He has certainly done his job out of the bullpen. Otters still down by 2. Only 6 outs for them to work with to try to extend their season. Joseph Eiley working on a performance he won't soon forget. The hometown kid trying to get the last few outs that stand between NNU and a trip to the Division II College Baseball World Series. Another capacity crowd here at Vale Field. NNU Athletic Director Paul Rush and his staff have brought in extra seats, and, man, hard to find a seat right now. As Nighthawk Nation ready to witness a historic victory. Interesting here that it looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter. Nick Maestas stepping into the batter's box for Jimmy Garcia. Pinch hitting for your leadoff hitter. We are 16 innings into this super regional for Cal State Monterey Bay, and man, did we hype up their offense yesterday, but it has been quiet here in Nampa. They say that he went around. Eiley goes ahead, 0-2.
Yeah, Eiley showing off some of his best pitches here. I mean, when he's on, I don't know if there's more movement out of a guy on the ball field. Just a great arsenal he has and coming right at these otter hitters.
Maestas, a chopper to Brubaker at short, throwing on the run. Gets Maestas moving down the first baseline in a hurry.
That's such a strong throw out of Brubaker on the run there. I mentioned earlier, just a savage in the weight room. You just check him get rid of this ball pretty quickly, but then hums it over to Karpstein. Just getting Maestas.
The Otters are going to go. It feels like they got to go right now. They're All-American. KW Quilici is on deck. Dressler trying to get on base. And it looks like he might do it as that one's headed towards the gap in right or left center field. It one hops the wall, and it'll be a double for Jacob Dressler. A short hop off the wall in left center field.
It's a good piece of hitting by Dressler there. Stayed on that pitch pretty low and just drew it out to the gap.
And this is the moment that the Otters and KW Quilici have been hoping for, waiting for. He comes to the plate as the tying run. Down 3-2 in this super regional, and now NNU is going to have a decision to make. Jonathan Zayas, their talented lefty, warming up in the bullpen. Joseph Eiley has been pretty good so far today. NNU has pushed all the right buttons over these last 2 days. And I do believe Matt Hollid just signaled towards the bullpen, so that's going to close the book on Joseph Eiley. The fans will come to their feet and clap for the Nampa native as he leaves the field, a fifth-year senior.
Yeah, Eiley obviously could come back tomorrow if needed, but he's hoping that that's his last walk off of that mound as well.
Goes 1 2/3 of an inning, throws 16 pitches, gives up 2 hits, strikes out a batter. The runner at second base belongs to him.
One thing I'll tell you about Eiley and Zayas, they are really good friends. There is not anyone on the team who cheers harder for each other than those two guys. And he has all the confidence in the world that Zayas is going to leave that runner on second stranded.
So now as Jonathan Zayas takes over, you see Wade Duncan, the closer, start to do a little armband work down in the bullpen. And then you trying to hang on to a 2-run lead, and I mean, it just does not get any better than this, Max. The kid they call K-Dub coming up as the tying run with the season on the line in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Otters running out of outs, trying to extend their season. A win for them would mean a program record 40. NNU has already achieved their program record. They actually own the GNAC record right now, securing their 43rd victory of the season yesterday.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to see Chris Enriquez, I would assume, get in the lineup as Cole Calnon moves out to shortstop, burning the DH.
Okay, so Calnon goes to short. Gavin Brubaker goes back over to what you would call maybe his more natural position of second base. We've seen Cal State, Monterey Bay kind of start to pull out all the stops themselves, and now NNU trying to find the last answers to this test only 5 outs away from a super regional win.
Yeah, and mentioning that, I think the Nighthawks, I mean, it's either Zayas comes out here and dominates and you get him to start the next inning, or from an offensive standpoint, we get to where Colt Calnon's position in the lineup was, where Enriquez would come in. That would probably mean a couple Nighthawk runs came across. So I think either way, Nighthawks are happy.
Zayas 3-0 on the season, 16 appearances, 37 Ks and 31 in the third inning of work. Opponents hitting just .238 off the southpaw. His ERA 2.59 on the season. Struggled a bit last week in the West Regional. Fires a fastball down the middle right there. Quilici trying to be the guy that saves the season for Cal State Monterey Bay. The 1-1 pitch. Swung on and missed.
Great pitch out of Zayas there. One thing I'll mention as a broadcaster, the favorite stat on Zayas is he's from Williamsport, Pennsylvania. The Little League World Series.
Misses up and away. Ball gets away from Bell for just a second.
Good waste pitch from Zayas there. Getting it to 2-2.
Digs into that blue glove. Rocks, fires, misses low. Quilici 0 for 3 today. 1 strikeout. Fouls off a 2-strike pitch down the first base line. Reached via the walk a couple of times yesterday, but the Otters superstar still searching for his first hit this week in Nampa. The 2-2. Swung on and missed, a big out for NNU. Matt Hollett goes to his bullpen, calls on the lefty, and it turns out to be the right call. A swing and miss by KW Quilici.
I bet NNU, hoping that's the last time they have to face him, kept him at bay very well this weekend so far.
Still got to get through one more guy here in the bottom of the 8th inning with 2 outs. It will be Jaden Shepard. 0 for 2 today, but this guy has some big-time pop. 11 jacks on the season. He's hitting .322, but falls behind in the count. 0-1 here. Bottom of the 8th.
Great pitch there. Zayas keeping the ball low, something he's not afraid to do. Couldn't make the adjustment as well last weekend, but still a great place to be as a pitcher, keeping that ball down.
If you miss low to Jaden Shepard. This is a little lower there for ball 2. You can hear the Otters dugout trying to cheer on Shepard. Fisted towards second. Brubaker fields the hopper and goes over to Karpstein, who offers a little bit of a fist pump, and you can see Jonathan Zayas fired up, a few chest bumps as he heads towards the dugout. He comes out of the bullpen and gets 2 big outs. NNU trying to finish this thing off. They will hit one more time before they try to turn it over to the bottom of the 9th and finish this thing out. They lead 3-1. So cool to see the support that NNU has received. Much deserved, by the way, over these last few weeks. But we mentioned the Price family on yesterday's broadcast. Larry Price, a local coaching legend, has won a number of high school titles, offering them some nice words of encouragement to two guys just trying to figure it out here in the broadcast booth.
Yeah, the support from a lot of the alumni. I've gotten a bunch of text messages from former players, teammates, family members of those players. I mean, it's been great to hear. We're having a whole lot of fun up here. Hope you guys are watching at home.
Top of the order due up for NNU. See if they can add some insurance runs. They are clinging to a 3-1 lead. Looks like the dugout might be getting a warning for Cal State Monterey Bay. Walt White not happy about it.
In between one of the innings, I think the bullpen was kind of chirping it in Burns a little bit in right field, and that umpire had already kind of talked to some of those players, and he might have heard something that he didn't like.
Nin Burns 0 for 4 on the day. It is not often this guy doesn't reach base. Has a pair of Ks. Went out and spoke with him a couple of weeks ago, and as Walt White continues to have a little chat with the first base umpire, some kind of cool. Nin has a tattoo on his left leg of all of his athletic role models, if you will, and I mean it's a group of guys from all over. I mean, Ken Griffey Jr., which is personally my idol growing up. He's the reason why I love sports in general, especially baseball. Nin, I thought was a little bit young for that, but he's like, no, you hear from anybody. You go put on the tape of Ken Griffey Jr., and that guy could absolutely play, and I agree with you, Nin. Also, he has Kobe Bryant, who he grew up watching being a kid from California, and Floyd Mayweather. So you got a basketball player, a boxer, as well as a baseball player.
Yeah, 3 great athletes right there.
The way he's played this year, kids in Nampa might be getting Nin Burns tattooed on their leg. What do you think? That good look for little Emmett, your boy? Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know.
They win the College World Series. I'm going to say, I don't know, Max.
He's not a big fan of needles.
0-2 count on Nin Burns. Make it a 2-1 count. Popped up. Felice thinks he's got this one, and he does. Burns fouls out in his 5th AB.
Now batting, third baseman, number 7, Brian Rojas.
Yeah, just a little under pitches today for Nin Burns. Something you don't see often. And that seemed to be how a lot of his outs were made today.
Brian Rojas is the difference maker in this game. A 2-run single with 2 outs back in the 5th inning. Right now, that is their current advantage on the scoreboard, a 3-1 lead.
Little tip for Rojas, maybe try not to go to deep center here. Something down the line might be a little easier to leave the yard.
Kind of jokingly said that in his last at-bat yesterday, and what did he do? Hit a home run to darn near straightaway left. Takes that pitch low.
Now Schaaf preaches to his offense, keep the ball between the hawks there, and you're going to have pretty good success, something he does very well.
Blisters that one past the first baseman into right field. Another 3-hit game for Brian Rojas. His second of the Super Regional. He is now batting well over 500 in regional play.
Stop keeping track. Start looking at 600.
No kidding, right? Blown away by what he's doing at the dish this season. You know what? And I do believe Brian Rojas came into this game with 76 hits on the season. That's his 79th. That ties the school record as now he takes off and steals second base. His 79th base hit ties the single-season school record here at NNU.
He's going to get an opportunity to break that record no matter the outcome of this game.
He's got to be careful, though, because Nin Burns is right on his heels at 77. So those two will battle it out, I guess.
Great battle to have on the same team, same year.
Big stolen base as now you have Rojas in scoring position for Caleb Karpstein with one out in the top of the 9th inning. If you're just joining us, you've missed a great ball game, but NNU is the road team despite the fact they are playing on their home field. In a best-of-3 series, they were the home team in Game 1, the road team in Game 2, and if there is an if-necessary game tomorrow, they will be back as the home team. But Cal State Monterey Bay has to figure out not only how to get out of this inning, but score 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th, at least 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th, I should say. The 2-1 pitch, fouled off by Karpstein.
That is Karpstein's hot zone right there. You could kind of tell a little reaction after swing that. That is the pitch that he wanted to hit and flick that over to the left field gap.
Yeah, you could see the left fielder McKernan as well as Kulichi in center field just kind of pinching that left center field gap. Kulichi not shaded as far over towards the left center field gap as we've seen him in the previous couple ABs. Lease continues to keep an eye on Rojas out at second base. NNU trying to continue this revenge tour. It was a year ago that Cal State Monterey Bay ended their season, knocking them out of the regional. A couple of years ago it was Point Loma that eliminated NNU. Well, the Nighthawks eliminated the Sea Lions last week at the West Regional. A 3-2 count. Caleb Karpstein, one of the best eyes in the GNAC.
Getting close to that pitch clock here.
You're right, that thing was down to
yeah, I had to
2
throw
when
that ball there, otherwise it would have been called a, I don't know if that would have been a ball or a balk because it was the second time he disengaged there.
Pitch clock did get all the way down to 2, though, so you're exactly right there, Max. Karpstein fouls away the 3-2 pitch, and we'll do it again. Already 2 knocks for Karpstein today. He's 3 for 2. Batting average, again, back up to 400. Takes that one, maybe crossed him up a little bit as Lee gets that one on the inside corner to retire Karpstein.
Yeah, and he knew it right away, too. It was a really good spot out of Lee there.
I don't know if he was maybe anticipating off speed or maybe just something over the other outer part of the plate, but
yeah, that's
watches
how
that inside fastball.
They've been pitching him outside all series long, and so it makes sense. They'd kind of freeze him on an inside fastball there. Very well placed by Lee.
It'll be up to Casey Wayne now to try to deliver a clutch 2-out base hit. He had that big RBI single all the way back in the 3rd inning. Actually, check that. That was the 1st inning. Actually, the exact scenario right here. He had Rojas on second base, and Wayne came up with an RBI 2-out single. See if he can do it again here. This one's just kind of turned into a bit of a pitcher's duel.
Yeah, I know Joe Schaefer's kind of shaking his head with the amount of runners in scoring position the Nighthawks have left on base.
Yeah.
I think we're a couple hits away from really blowing this one open, but I know the Nighthawk pitchers are not afraid to still attack this Otter offense.
Wayne carefully considers that one, but takes it for a ball. A 2-1 count. 6'4" senior out of Arizona. Ball 3, kicks away to the backstop. Felice has been great all evening, but couldn't corral that one. Rojas rounds third and takes an aggressive step towards home, but goes back to third.
Last 2 innings, that would have been a run for the Nighthawks, but if you're going to miss one, that's a good time to do it. Without a runner on third. Great count for Casey Wayne here to get that fastball he's been hunting.
And it hits him. Gets in on his hands. That one certainly looked like it hurt.
Also ricocheted off of Feliz there. And Wayne to Feliz. They both got kind of hit in some bummer spots there. Catches are tough, though.
Yeah. In his 32nd appearance, actually it's his 33rd appearance this season. That's the first time that Casey Wayne's been hit all season.
Well, I'm very confused by the DH rule and all this going on since Calnon's coming up to bat. So I just might.
Calnon assumes the DH role since he was the pitcher, but I believe it's when they get to Mestis that they're going to have to make a consideration of what they're going to do.
Yeah, that's correct, since Mestis didn't come out, or since he's the one who came out.
Yeah. A couple of options there. The biggest and the best is probably Chris Enriquez, but we're still a few batters away. And with 2 outs here, Cole Calnon going to try to extend this inning with runners on the corners.
I think Chris and the entire Nighthawk team would love for him to get an at-bat this inning.
Yeah, no kidding, right? It mean they get a little bit of breathing room going into the bottom of the 9th inning. This Cal State Monterey Bay bullpen's been phenomenal today. That group itself technically has not given up any runs. You go back to Aguiar, he inherited 2 runs. Those guys scored, but again, they don't belong to his earned run average, if you will. So Aiden Lee back out behind the mound, springing to his feet, trying to dig deep and keep this game and this score exactly where it is.
Casey Wayne, an okay base runner, too. Might be able to put on some trick plays or something.
He's going to go. And Calnon delivers a clutch 2-out base hit into center field. Wayne's going to motor into third. Calnon's done it with his arm and now his bat. In line for the win and picks up a little insurance run.
Just a great piece of hitting there, just right back up the middle, and Casey Wayne in motion already.
Heck of a job by Aiden Lee, but I think that's going to do it for the big right-hander. Walt White going to go to his bullpen again.
I would assume it would be their closer.
Casey Wayne going over to Cole Calnon, delivering a fist pump. Man, this team, I think they're special for a number of reasons, but this group of guys really seems to enjoy playing with each other. There was a little moment that you missed in between innings last inning where Jonathan Zayas gets a big out, and Joseph Eiley was one of the first people out of the dugout, was actually the first person out of the dugout to make sure that he delivered a nice little chest bump to Zayas. And as you mentioned, those 2 guys are really close friends. But I think a lot of these guys are really close friends.
Oh, yeah. The chemistry that this team has is really good. I mean, just looking at it from being on a team with the 2021 World Series team where we were super close, I see a lot of that in this team as well. But yeah, as a pitcher too, Zayas with your best friends run on second and being able to keep him there, I mean, that just feels great for both players there. I know me and Blake McFadden had a lot of moments like that. McFadden's still playing for the Boise Hawks. And I mean, there's just nothing like it playing with your best friends. It's a long season of baseball, and it's even better when you're kind of the only ones on campus. I mean, school got out for NNU a few weeks ago, and it really is just you guys around here, the town rallying behind you with all the fans in the stands. It's a great feeling.
It'll be Andrew Coton, the 6'2", 210-pound junior out of Irvine, California. This is the closer. This guy is the real deal for Cal State Monterey Bay. Pretty much the last line of defense, if you will. A 3.09 ERA, 17 appearances, a team-high 7 saves, 22 strikeouts, and 22 1/3 innings of work. Opponents hitting only 186 off this guy this season. He knows how to come in and get outs, and he needs a big out right now with Gavin Brubaker headed towards home plate.
I love the matchup with Brubaker here, coming in with any new pitcher. I mean, Brubaker just goes right at you. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a first pitch swing here.
Good call. Liner to right. It's going to get down and carry him off the wall. Wayne scores, and here comes Cal on the throw home. He'll go in standing up. Brubaker with a triple. His 6th of the season, one shy of a school record. A look at this piece of hitting. You called it, Max. First pitch swinging, goes to right field. That ball working away from the right fielder. It gets to the wall, and on the throw home, Brubaker advances to third. NNU with 3 runs here in the top of the 9th inning. This is within their grasp. 6-1, they lead.
Yeah, great piece of hitting from Brubaker there. I mean, staying on that ball, not trying to do too much with it, really went with the pitch, and then it just kept carrying away from the right fielder. Brubaker with the speed getting to third. I mean, even applies more pressure. Especially as a right-handed pitcher, you get to look up and see another runner on third after giving up a monster hit for the Nighthawks.
See if Carter Walsh can play add-on here. Against the Otters closer, fouls that one straight back. 1-2 the count. Carter with a pair of hits today. He's 2 for 3. Mentioned 4 guys in the starting lineup had multi-hit games last night. Well, guess what? 4 guys in the starting lineup have multi-hit games again today. 7 out of the 9 starters with at least 1 hit. And it looks like another hit for Carter Walsh. Give him 3 and an RBI. As Brubaker touches home.
Walsh did me a huge favor there. He's trying to give me just the perfect called inning with Chris Enriquez coming to the plate. The guy wanted to see this inning for the Nighthawks. Hopefully he can do some damage, hit the home run last night. Just another good hitter.
A missile over the wall. The game was 4-0 at that point in time, and just laid into one that cleared the wall in left field for his 6th home run of the season. And Joe Schaefer out of the dugout to talk this one over with his guys. That being said, too, so now you do have Chris Enriquez hitting in the spot of Jonathan Zayas. So you look down to your left in the NNU bullpen, and now you see Wade Duncan, their closer, really getting it cranked up because it will be his game in the bottom of the 9th. Chris Enriquez hitting .295 on the season, 50 RBIs. Something that's pretty wild about this team, Max. There have been 8 occurrences in program history where an NNU player has had 50 or more RBI. Yeah, 3 of them are on this team.
No, it's incredible what these guys are doing. And one thing that I look at our World Series team is those guys we all had career years, it seemed like, to get us to the World Series. Yeah. That's exactly what's happening here. They're chasing down records left and right with each other. I mean, it's fun to watch.
Enriquez takes that pitch off the outside. He's ahead 2-0. Walsh at first. A nice lead. I assume they're going to let Chris go, though, and now Walsh takes off.
Joe Schaefer wants to take every single bag
he
can. And I would like to check out what the total bases count is for this team, because it's got to be up there.
Smashed, a diving stop by Fairfan. Can he make the toss across? In time, he does. Murchison able to field it. Kind of comes up a little bit hobbled, but he scoops it for the third and final out of the inning. The damage is done, though. 4 runs across for the Nighthawks in the top of the ninth. They lead 7-1. Only 3 outs stand between them and Cary, North Carolina. So here we go. We are down to the final out, 3 outs of this Super Regional. Cal State Monterey Bay has some serious work to do if they're going to climb back in this thing. They now trail 7-1. And they will have to deal with Wade Duncan, NNU's dominant closer. The sophomore this season is 5-1, has an ERA barely over 2, 4 saves and 16 appearances, 33 Ks and 26 2/3 innings of work. Opponents only hitting .206 off him. I say this sitting next to arguably the best closer in NNU history. Wade Duncan coming for you, Max.
Yeah, I'm always cheering for Wade here. He's been just such an awesome player to watch. I mean, just the attitude he has is perfect for the 9th inning. Not afraid of anything, just going to come out and attack you. He does fall behind the count 3-0. But he's in the spot that all closers hope to be in. I mean, end of the ball game, ticket to Cary on the line. He's been thinking about this one for a while.
Not a save opportunity as he is able to get a strike there. A 3-1 count. This guy came in last Saturday with the bases loaded. NNU's down 2-1 as Murchison lines one off of Karpstein's glove. It's going to carry him off the wall down in right field foul territory. Burns goes over, gets it, and throws it into the infield to Brubaker. But a leadoff single for Murchison, who continues to seem like he's battling through something. I remember yesterday he fouled a ball off of his shin, and he's kind of been limping around, but he'll gladly get down to first base and try to spark a rally with Javier Felix now coming to bat. But what I was going to say about Duncan, yeah, he came in bases loaded, down 2-1, 2 outs. It feels like the game's slipping away. He falls behind 3-0 in the count in that at bat. Eventually works his way back, gets a pop out to short, and well, the rest is history. NNU rallies back to win as Duncan got the final 7 outs of that game.
Good pitch there, good breaking pitch. Might see a couple more of those than usual, trying to maybe set up the double play ball. get something on the ground. Got the normal Nighthawk defense behind him.
Off-speed pitch. Swung on and missed by Felix. Up 6, there is no action in the bullpen for NNU. This is Wade Duncan's game. Another off-speed pitch, swung on and missed by Felix.
Yeah, that's a great pitch there from Wade Duncan, another off-speed pitch. I mean, he's got a really good one too. Same with Joe Eiley, but one thing about Wade is he keeps his intensity up at all times and has done so throughout the season. So this game's no different than another game in his head. He's just amped up, ready to attack auto hitters.
An attack he does. Maximiliano Fairfan falls behind 0-1. Pitch misses a little low. Lifted well out of play down the left field foul line. Over where the new NNU baseball facility will soon exist.
That's going to be a great facility for this team going forward for years to come. The community really has rallied around that building. I mean, having the success that the baseball program and softball program have had the last couple of years. I mean, it's really going to be a great place for our players to get good work in, kind of not have to deal with all the traffic out of the Johnson Center, and then open it up for all the other sports in that blue gym they have in there. But it's going to be a great addition to this team.
Fly ball to center field. Back goes Carter Walsh. To the wall on the front edge of the warning track. Makes the catch for out number 2. The Nighthawk fans feeling this one. Dominic Felice. The last hope for the Otters. Chopper to Karpstein. It's going to be ruled a foul ball. Oh, right down the line. Oh, so close.
He tried to kind of keep his feet in play there and grab it before it got past the bag.
Check out the NNU dugout. These guys are on the top step, ready to just explode out of the dugout. Swung on and missed by Felice.
Now right now what's going through Wade Duncan's head is this is the best pitch of his life right here that he's going to try and throw. And with the composure that he has and amping himself up all season, I mean, I know it's going to be a really good competitive one here.
Just off the outside edge.
A little fired up with that pitch here.
Wade wanted that one,
we had
man.
a lip reader.
It wasn't close, but man, he's ready to finish this thing. Oh, and that one hits Felice. So Wade a little jacked up here. I'll say this about him. When he fell behind 3-0 last week with the bases loaded and eventually came back to work his way into that count and get that out that they really needed, he said that he was a little too jacked up, moving a little too quick, so he calmed himself down. And as he steps off the mound, that might be what he's telling himself again.
Yeah, third out's the hardest one to get in any inning, especially with the stakes that are here. I mean, everyone's thinking about it. Wade's just got to find a little bit composure here for the next few pitches. He's got the tools to punch the ticket to Cary.
Evan Stouch going to pinch hit for Cal State Monterey Bay. Takes that pitch off of home plate. Jason Bell corrals it. Have to imagine these runners won't be doing much because the Otters need everything they can get down to their final out of the season.
A little breather out of Wade Duncan here. Jason Bell senses it too, calls time. It's a great call by Jason Bell. I don't think that was from the dugout. I think he started moving more. Wade's still trying to stay a little amped and play his game, but this is a big moment here. He's been waiting for it all season. There really is no feeling like it, Jay.
Ooh, I can't imagine the blood pumping through his veins right now. This is up and in.
Not right there. Slowed his delivery down a little bit. And Wade's not a guy who walks many people either. I mean, he comes at you. So I think right here it's just a little mental battle to get the ball over the plate, and he's got the stuff to get this final out.
Ooh, wow.
I don't know where that one missed. That's just
and I tell you, I'm not sure what's up with Murkerson, but he continues to just kind of hobble around the base paths. Took him a while to get from second to third, but the Otters now have the bases loaded as they go back to the top of the order, and they do not want to face KW Quilici again. That's probably the goal right now because he would stand as a significant run if they do. The bender over the heart of the plate. Nick Maestas now trying to be the third consecutive hitter for the Otters to reach. Takes that pitch low and away. A 1-1 count. Bases loaded. Otters trail by 6. Man, are those runs that NNU scored in the top half of the ninth proving to be big right now.
Great pitch.
All right, so the fans come to their feet. Wade Duncan back up onto the mound. Rises, fires, and fouled off by Maestas.
Sure playing with the heartstrings here with all the fans at Vail Field.
Everybody on their feet, ready to witness this historic moment. Lined up the middle, it's going to get into center field. A couple of runs are going to come around to score. The throw into third. And the Otters have life. A big hit by Maestas. Not normally known for his offensive prowess. Had a hit yesterday and delivers a big 2-run single tonight. Still no action in the NNU bullpen. A 7-3 advantage for the Nighthawks.
Yeah, that ball just inches away from Duncan's glove there. Good piece of hitting.
You have Jacob Dressler at bat and lurking in the on-deck circle, hoping for one more opportunity is KW Quilici. Hasn't done much at all in this Super Regional, but there is still time for him to make a massive impact. The potential tying run in this game is on deck. There have been more runs scored here in the 9th inning than there were previously combined in this game. NNU pushes 4 across in the top of the 9th. And right now, that's the difference. with the Otters adding 2 of their own in the bottom of the 9th. A big breath from Dressler, and now he's ready to go. Duncan looks in. His 29th pitch of the inning misses away.
Yeah, Wade right now just needs to stay composed and try to throw the ball over the plate. He's got a great defense behind him.
Not exactly sure where that one missed. As you start to see some action down in the NNU bullpen. Duncan misses up.
Caught that corner there.
Oh, it did? Okay,
Yeah.
Excuse me. Wow. Gosh, the previous pitch looked like a strike, and I'm not sure about that one, but hey, it's 2-1. All the same, I suppose. That one misses away.
Close to the same spot there.
Duncan really starting to run his pitch count up here. 32 pitches. And if Dressler can reach, Quilici will come to the plate as the tying run. That one catches the corner, and once again, the Otters season down to its final out, its final strike. Strike 3, Duncan does it. It's a super performance by NNU from Northwest Nazarene to North Carolina. The Nighthawks soar to new heights. They are ready to carry on to the 2025 College World Series.
That's awesome right there out of Duncan to freeze that batter. The emotions that are in the middle of that dog pile right now, there's just nothing like it in the world. A great performance from the pitching staff of the Nighthawk squad.
Duncan had to dig deep, clearly did not have his best stuff. The moment seemed awfully big, but not big enough, because Duncan gets the final strike, and now NNU is going back to Cary, North Carolina for the first time since 2021 and only the second time in program history.
Lots of hugs on that field right there. Something that's different is, they were hugging each other like that just a week ago, something our World Series team didn't get. We only had one hug, but the emotions there are still so high, and it's great to see.
Please turn your attention.
Man, what a season for Cal State Monterey Bay really quick. 39 wins, ties the school record.
Let's hear it for the Cal State
It was their 8th straight postseason berth. They won their conference regular season title 4 years in a row, their tournament title for the 3rd consecutive year, but they come up just short of that victory this program long desires to get in a trip to the College World Series. Unfortunately for them, this was probably their year too. They are going to lose a lot of talent. They're going to have to retool that roster to try to rebuild back towards this moment. NNU not worried about the distant future. They get to focus on what's right in front of them, and that's a cross-country trip to play for a national championship.
Yeah, I'm so happy for these guys. Watching, I think I didn't miss a game all weekend, or all season, rather. You can just see it in every player playing for each other. It's just great to see. And to do it here at home is just something special. Who better than Cole Calnon to lift that trophy up? What a performance he had on the mound, and then driving and getting that rally started in the top of the 9th.
National championship in Cary, North Carolina, at the USA Baseball National Training Complex on May 30th through June 7th.
Just incredible. Cole Calnon gets the win, his 11th of the season. The second most in a single season in school history. The only guy with more is his teammate, Ernesto Lugo Canchola, who went 7 shutout innings yesterday. Smile, boys, because that picture is going to hang over inside that new baseball facility for a long time to come.
Yeah, what a year to do it also, because you're absolutely right. We got a couple of trophies we get to hang in there, but this one's going to be super special, being the first super regional the Northwest Nazarene Nighthawks have taken home.
This next one might be a little bit of a delicate topic, but I was talking with Joe Schaefer about that year, and man, Max, he was so proud of what you guys battled that year in 2021 because COVID came with its own challenges. But he did say to me that he does view that one with a little bit of an asterisk just because there were some talented teams out of California that didn't get that right to compete that year. This year, a little bit of a different story. They had to run through everybody's best out west in order to get to Cary, North Carolina. And what a year by this Nighthawk group. A talented team that had contributors up and down the lineup, throughout the bullpen in terms of the starters as well, with Ernesto Lugo Canchola and Cole Calanon being two of the best pitchers in the country. And now this team gets to go and play for a national championship. And I can't say enough about what Joe Schaefer has done with this program in Nampa.
Oh, absolutely. And I think this offense is really in stride right now. I mean, to have performances out of Rojas and Karpstein and really up and down the lineup all this weekend. I mean, for them to continue that as we see some buckets getting dumped on some of the players and coaches here.
Man, they came in a hurry with that thing.
That was, the quickest bucket I've seen.
My goodness. Well-deserved. Well-deserved. It's always cool to see all this play out because they've been building towards this for not months but years. And you know what? They found the right combination because I know that the expectations that 2021 team set, they were hard to live up to. And the path to success isn't always linear. There was a tough season or two in between, but man, 44 wins. They have smashed the school record. They extend their GNAC record, and now they get to go try and do something that no NNU team has ever fully been able to accomplish, and that is win a Division II College Baseball World Series.
Yeah, absolutely. This team's super magical, and I mean, you look at the coaching staff too. There, a lot of players from that 21 team. I mean, they're pushing these guys day in and day out, and I've seen what Grant Cary has done. I mentioned he does the conditioning program, which really turned it up a notch from our 2021 season. I mean, it's been great to see these coaches and the community just pour into this team. Alumni all around. Last weekend we got a big alumni showing for a big picture with them, and I mean, for them to just continue to carry on, you got a lot of people cheering for you, and I guarantee everyone on that field feels that.
Gosh, these are some of those heartbreaking moments because you see the happiest guys on earth to your left and over down the right field line. Cal State Monterey Bay just heartbroken. Some of their players watching NNU continue to bask in the glory of a super regional victory. And I just got to say, doing some work and whatnot with the people over at Cal State Monterey Bay, class acts over there, a phenomenal season for them, wonderful people, and hopefully they'll be back. But NNU doesn't have to hope for anything because they have earned the right to go and play another week. So they will travel across the country in Cary, North Carolina. The Division II College Baseball World Series begins on May 30th. It runs through June 7th. What do you remember about that experience, Max? And how can these guys, I know hardly anybody remains, only your boy Joe Eiley maybe, but how can these guys dip into that, tap into what you guys accomplished that year and maybe just go a little further this time?
Oh, absolutely. I think from a coaching perspective, you know, we had to deal with the humidity out there, which was something that we weren't really ready for, I feel like, a lot of the guys. And so I know Coach Schaefer and Coach Hall would remember those moments, some guys getting tired a little sooner. But these guys just need to continue to play their game. They've proved that they're the best in the country. They've been all up and down the rankings all year long and proven it here being the 1 seed in the West and punching that ticket. I mean, they're ready to show the rest of the country what baseball on the West Coast is all about.
Mm-hmm. They've been doing it all season long. We'll see if the magic continues in a little over a week. What a season, what a weekend, what a game. Max, this has been an absolute blast. We're going to have to make sure that Joe kind of makes this maybe a late May routine. And Paul Rush, if and when you're listening, hey, we got 2 volunteers ready to be on the call next year if we just want to continue this party then.
Oh, absolutely, Jay. It was such a blast. I really enjoyed every part of it. Thank you again for having me out. When I first got the text message, I was thrilled to be able to get up in the booth and talk good baseball with you and watch a really good team on the field.
Yep. Well, NNU does it. They sweep the Super Regional, knocking out Cal State Monterey Bay in 2 games. There will be no if necessary game tomorrow because it's not necessary. NNU wins this Super Regional 2-0. For everybody out here at NNU, congrats. A lot of hard work went into this. Joe Schaefer, I know you're going to go represent NNU well in Cary, North Carolina. The NNU baseball team moving on. 7-3 the final of this one. Next stop, Cary, North Carolina in the 2025 College Baseball World Series.